Yo, 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 what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 450. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? Still in not rainy Seattle.
Yes. Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo, yo, yo.
The returning one, Mr. Adam Vale.
How you doing?
Brett Murdoch.
Hey, Bird Evil.
He's a little muted.
Hey, don't send to me, man.
Hey, there he is. Brian Manjoma.
It's a gas giant for a reason.
You know, your boy's about to go off. And all right, so since this is episode 450, 9 years of Throwdown, this iteration, we had to have some special guests, man. First up, the man who gave Throwdown us basically the second chance, man. Another home after SCF play. Mr. Richard Bailey Jr.
Yes, congrats to everybody on show 450. I look forward to there being 450 plus more.
Yes.
God, we're dying here, aren't we?
Yeah, and this happened last minute, but I was like, hold on, 9 years, we got to have this motherfucker on who was one of the inspirations for Throwdown, and me personally as a journalist, Mr. Andre Tipton, Otaku Man in the house.
Yo, what's up? 450, man, that's a milestone, man.
Yeah, man.
Killing it.
We've officially surpassed the Minority Show.
Well, we did that a long time ago.
We did that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you got to understand. This is how crazy we are, right? We surpassed because like SUF Play had a bunch of like offshoot podcasts. We beat all of those before we left FCM Play. We did 91 episodes there, but we beat Warzone like last year when we hit 400.
Damn.
Ain't that something?
And that's happened.
And the fan zone. Oh, God, Mr. Taz. The industry.
Yo, we have two shows, too. We split this shit into two shows a while ago.
Yeah.
Technically, if we're talking straight throwdowns, we got like 900 of them these bitches.
This is factual.
Oh, yeah.
This is factual. So 900 episodes for you people, man. The podcast novella. What the fuck, Muppets? Guadalupe,
Bro, we're like the Akira manga of podcasts.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so I was thinking about it. I'm like, it's kind of crazy. It's like the show, even though we kind of dropped the pop culture shit kind of early on, the formula is still basically the same, and it works. It's just motherfuckers talking about games,
Yeah, man, and that's all we used to do, going back in the day. That's all we used to do when when there was no internets or any of that sort of stuff. We just hanging out and talking, maybe call each other on the phone, talking to Adam and Chris.
Yeah,
and,
man.
Obviously, we have Mr. Brad, and we have Carlos Romero.
Ooh, Mr. Brad,
Brian,
I like that.
our big old family. So,
Tony, are you saying it just works?
It just works, man.
It just works.
That reminds me of that. It was this scene from like this Black Sabbath documentary. But Ozzy was like, "It's like family, We got Uncle Tony and cousin Giza and fucking Bill Ward."
Yeah,
so it's over here. It's like, we got cousin Manny, fucking nephew Carlos, and fucking Brett Murdoch. We all family around here.
Yep.
So, and obviously we wouldn't be here without the fans. A lot of you guys have been with us since the beginning. Like Logic Wins, my man's been there since day one. SCF Play days, and then and then we got new cats like Jay Shep, and Alpha Chuck. Shout out to all you cats. But hold on, let's see who's in the chat room, man. I'm giving all you motherfuckers shout out right now, man. We got Mob Hits. You already know Mob Hits with the bits and the rumors all the time. We got my man Blitz holding it down in New Zealand. What's my man? Kiss Shack in the house, and I know you're in there, Fergus. I know you're in there, man. Fergus Mills, providing
shout out
consoles.
To Barry Burton, man.
Barry Burton too, holding it down, making sure these motherfuckers in the chat don't get out of line.
Yo, Fergus, you going to PAX?
Yeah, Pat, what's up, man? Although
he's out in Seattle, ain't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Fergus Mills in the house, man.
Yo, man, you might see a homie walking around.
Yeah,
somebody familiar.
Just want to thank all the fans and all that good stuff for supporting us throughout the years. We are here for you, man.
It's a crazy one. Like, was it 9 years, but really more than that. So
yeah. We've been around since 2012, literally.
2012. Wow.
Manny, Fergus says Sunday. He's going Sunday.
Oh shit!
Shit!
Wait. Did you get to the Nintendo thing?
Nintendo thing. Let's see if he knows.
There's the Nintendo thing.
Damn, how long is PAX? What is that shit? Like 2 weeks, man? You've been there forever.
Oh, well,
Or you have reasons. We'll leave it at that. I have reasons. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
Besides just going to PAX.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
But it's there's like a Nintendo thing going on here. Apparently,
Fergus wants to F Nintendo.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a Nintendo. Along with PAX, Nintendo decided to put on a little convention of their own. But what the caveat is, you could only register for it if you had a Nintendo ID.
So hold on. I was literally about to make that joke. I was like, "What? You need a Nintendo ID? Oh my god!"
Yeah, you have to have Nintendo.
I was going to say that as a joke. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good way to lock everything down because it's totally free. It's not as long as you have a Nintendo ID and you can go. So there you go. You just register for it and you just pick people. So there you go.
Yeah.
So that's happening to this thing too. So it's going to be a big to do this year. Last year was all about what do they call it? The social distancing and all that sort of stuff. But this year, it seems like they've gone full force. The Nintendo took over the old location where PAX used to be, and PAX is in another. They built a fancy new convention center over here, so that's where PAX is going to be now. So should be some crazy.
Good stuff. All right, man. Adam with that clicky ass keyboard, man. we got to get you a silent linear and shit.
Nah, man, you like the mechanicals.
No, silent linear is mechanical.
Oh, okay.
It's just without the clicky.
What switches? Because that's the thing.
If we get you like a linear switch, what do you use? Use a clicky one, don't you?
Switch. I use red switch.
That's a red switch? God damn, man. It's not loud?
Yeah,
hold on. Press it.
Okay, all right, hold on. I got to make sure I'm not typing on.
Yeah, type. I got to hear this. Oh shit! That's not clicky.
Yeah,
that's just the way he types.
Exactly. That's just the way I type.
Don't worry, Adam. I type hard too, man. Yeah, I type hard too.
I type hard.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't go with black. I would want black or blue. It's like it's like you're on a freaking old school.
Yeah,
like an old typewriter.
Because clicky. The blue ones are like really clicky. So yeah, Adam, I'm in the same boat. I type hard too. So
but usually, it's I pressed the mute on the mic. I didn't press it this time.
Like you guys hear this?
No, you're light.
No, you're real.
Because this is linear too. But anyway, let's stop nerding out about tech. Let's nerd out about games, man. So why you're all here, man. You know why you're all here. Today is the day where the review embargo for Starfield dropped, and as expected, fucking chaos erupted. But we'll get to that later. We're going to talk about the game first. And of course, we have Richard Bailey Jr. on, who played the game. And
you're going to say, first, we got this sponsor break. Bye.
I wish, yeah, right? Yeah, Manscaped,
Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah, Raid Shadow Legends, Oh, my God. Anyway, so let's get into it, man. Starfield review is out. It seems the consensus is, hey, do you like Bethesda games? Because you're going to like this one. So yeah, Rich, just regale us about Starfield. And obviously, guys, feel free to, jump in and ask Richard questions and stuff. So yeah, Rich, I give the floor to you, sir.
All right, so first and foremost, I would like to reveal something that I don't think a lot of people knew prior to this.
Uh-oh. Already starting with controversy.
You never played the game.
Yeah.
Fucking. Go ahead.
Just to give some background, Fallout 76. I know that that this is a game that Brett really enjoys. I had a chance to play the beta before the actual game came out, and I actually wrote an article on the website saying that I thought the game was great.
I gave you a thumbs down on that one. I remember. Keep going.
No, okay. So you definitely was probably one of the people that gave me a thumbs down because I know I got some pretty bad comments on that article. But let me just say this: I didn't get a chance to go back to it because there were too many other games that came out. So obviously, my interest in Starfield came from watching the Starfield Direct. I think I've mentioned this on the show before. I saw some stuff in that Direct. I said, okay, I'm interested in checking this out. So I purposely asked to review the game because I wanted to learn more about it. And I wouldn't call myself a diehard Bethesda fan. I love Wolfenstein. That's probably the one franchise Bethesda in Machine Games makes that I really, really like. Except for that last Wolfenstein with the two.
Youngbloods or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a thumbs down. But the other,
we don't talk about that.
Yeah, no, we don't talk about that. But so going into this game, I have to say, like I said, my review is currently on the website, thecoalition.com. I really enjoyed Starfield. Now, it is not a perfect game. I have seen some people say that this is perfect. Obviously, it's going to have its issues because there's no such thing as a perfect game in general. But in terms of what they wanted to go for, I think they were successful. You know, this is a science fiction action RPG. It makes me, you know, a lot of times while playing through this game, I felt very similar to how I played other games. You know, obviously, if you're a huge Fallout fan, I think you'll enjoy this game.
Now, graphically, Fallout. So you're linking it because that's the one thing I noticed. A lot of people are like, oh, so it's Fallout, and then from these reviews and others, people are saying it's more like Oblivion.
Well, here's the thing. I have not played Oblivion, so I wouldn't be able to make that comparison. It's very likely it could be, but the reason why I say Fallout, because I did play a lot of Fallout, and a lot of the systems they have in place are pretty much there. They've obviously made a lot of updates and changes, and the main thing here is that this is a space setting, right? It takes place in the settled systems, which I'm sure everybody has seen. This is Bethesda's own version, their own reimagining of the galaxy. So they have their own unique take on this, and they do have some realistic things in there. But essentially, I mean, let me start off by saying this: the combat in the game is fantastic. All right, I know that they said,
right? The Wolfenstein people.
Yeah, machine guns. I don't know if ID, did some work on this as well, but that's one thing I really enjoyed. Like whenever you're using weapons, it just feels good to use the weapons against various enemies, whether it's human or other. I enjoyed that. The conversations, because again, the companion system is the big thing about this game. And to me, one thing I will say about the companions is that I do like the fact that, well, let me talk about the positives and the negatives. The positive first with the whole conversation system. I really like the persuasion system they have in the game, because this whole time you have the ability to try to persuade somebody to change, to basically get the outcome that you want. Like take, for example, I'm not going to get into any spoilers because I know there's some people that don't want to know any spoilers, but let's just say I had a situation in a mission where I had to retrieve an item from some space pirates. And as soon as I came out the cave, I'm being held up at gunpoint by this other faction that's saying, no, you need to give us the artifact. So at that point, I have a decision where I have a lot of things I can say to them. I can tell them they don't stand a chance, and then immediately right there, a shootout would start, and I would have to kill them. Or I can try to persuade them and convince them why it's not a good idea, why we should take a peaceful resolution to what we're doing. And I really like that particular mechanic because it happens many times throughout the game. Even when you're trying to get information for something, some type of intel, you can try to persuade somebody. Somebody may ask you for, well, if you want the information, I need you to pay me this amount. And you can talk them out of that either to a lower amount or just make them feel guilty. And then, okay, all right, whatever. You're right. You don't have to pay anything. You can do this. I like that system. So that is a positive. Going to something about the companions that I will say, a lot of times when you do these missions with the companions, when you start out the game and you do a particular mission, it's mandatory that you have to do that mission with the particular companion that they've paired you up with. But after that mission is over, you can go off and do these missions on your own. But obviously, if you want to try and explore friendships and relationships, you do have opportunities to bond with these companions. And every time after you do a mission with them, they will give you a gift, sort of like a gesture to be nice. You can either blow them off and pretend like it's nothing, or you can actually tell them, oh, thank you for this. And then you can try to pursue romantic relationships with them down the road. Now, I will tell you right now, I did try to pursue a romantic relationship with one of the characters early in the game.
Uh-oh.
And they was talking about, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this. So I had to shut that down and just say, all right, let's continue on with business as usual, do what we do. And of course, you can try to pursue relationships with various people. So that's an option for you. When it comes to the customization, you do run into different characters in the game where you'll have the ability to recruit them to your ship. And each person that you try to bring on your ship, they have a certain number of skills. You don't just recruit them to the ship. You can just get them on the Constellation team in general. So I like that aspect about it as well. I know people have been talking about the 1,000 planets. As I said in my review, I did not get to all 1,000 planets. No. That it's going to be impossible. It's going to take a long time to do that. Definitely, well, for me, because I was playing other games at the time. So
no one's going to make it to all 1,000. I'm just waiting for the mod community to make the Fallout planet. That's all.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what the mod community does do with this game, because I think they have a lot that they can add to it. But overall, I mean, listen, I thought the game was really good. I enjoyed it. I obviously there was some bugs in the game. I have seen people talking about. I've seen some people putting out tweets talking about, oh, I haven't had a bug and I've been playing for 15 hours, and then I've seen other people saying it's a whole bunch of bugs. I didn't have too many bugs on the Xbox Series X, so I don't know about the PC version. Whatever problems people run into, I know that I believe I'm not sure which card. If it's Nvidia, it's one of those cards that Bethesda has come out and said they're not supporting that. So I don't know if that's going to cause people issues.
Is that what I got to look into this shit? That's interesting.
I think AMD is who they work with, but there was another card in particular because unfortunately I didn't see it right before we came on here. Otherwise, so I apologize for that. But I haven't heard too many issues with the PC version of the game, so I'm not sure. I've just been playing on Series X. Also, let me say this: 30 frames per second. I know a lot of people was pissed off when they heard that. To me personally, it didn't make a difference to me. You know, like I said, if I'm immersed in the story, what's happening in the game, the action, exploring the planets, exploring the worlds, etc., that's all I care about. I don't care about the frames per second. Would it be great if it gets a 60 frame per second patch? Great. Yes, that would be great. But in my opinion, it did not deter from my experience of the game. But yeah, I mean, that pretty much it.
Yeah, by the way, Rich,
okay,
we got a couple of questions from the chat here for you. You know, if you don't mind answering some of these.
Yes.
First up, from Fergus Mills, are most of the side missions good?
That is a very good question. Some of the missions that I played were pretty decent. A lot of the stuff is tied to. I mean, some of the stuff can feel like it's basically you have to. I wouldn't say a fetch quest. You have to do certain stuff for certain characters, but it does build up your personality, and that ties into, again, when you create your character in the very beginning, you have different traits that you can assign to the character, and that plays out in how you respond in certain conversations, so on and so forth. I do want to mention, though, for those that don't know, you are a silent protagonist. I know Bethesda has said, they've came out and they said recently they did consider having your character, having voice in the game, but I guess they just couldn't do all that because they had the game. There's so much to do in the game. All right. So I kind of understand if they can't have every aspect of what somebody will want in the game, but overall,
you hear the NPCs. It's just your response is text.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I also want to say this, Neon City. I'm not sure if people have seen videos about Neon City. Look here, bro. They definitely was inspired by Cyberpunk. And that's all I will say about that particular city, because that's what I felt as soon as I did that particular mission. this is Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah,
That's what it feels
I saw
like.
that screenshot. I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I
I know what you're talking about. But obviously, that's just inspired by Cyberpunk, the genre, you know. So we can't give them too much shit about that, you know. All right,
they all take from Blade Runner and shit. So
yeah, exactly. Another we got a couple here from GZDR. What makes this game different than No Man's Sky, Mass Effect, and Star Citizen?
Oh, wow. This is a great question.
Except for the Star Citizen part, because
that game's not real, you know.
Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Star Citizen and No Man's Sky, I'm gonna tell you right now, I haven't played those games. Brett might have played those games, so he might be able to answer that part. But in terms of Mass Effect, and this is something that, and again, this might be a little controversial.
Oh,
with Mass Effect, I consider Mass Effect to be a classic in terms of you, and then you have all these characters like Garrus, all the various characters. Those particular companions, those felt a lot more memorable to me because of the performances, and that's the one thing that I think is a little different about this game, because the companions are there, but a lot of those companions I didn't care about for most of the game. When I had my interactions with them, it wasn't something where they left a lasting impact on me the way that was in Mass Effect. So that's obviously different. But again, the game is more so about, how the game starts out is it's about this artifact and getting answers to this artifact. When you discover the artifact, and then you go down this rabbit hole of trying to get answers about where it came from. Is it dangerous to have this? So on and so forth. So it's really about your character. It's not too much about the companions, but I'm not saying all the companions are bad. I thought the companions were pretty good. Some of them were pretty good, but at the end of the day, if you're talking about companions in a game like this and in Mass Effect, 100% Mass Effect is completely different. That's a completely different conversation, because Mass Effect, those performances and those characters, you remember those characters. Even to this day, I remember Mass Effect and all of those characters, how I cared about a lot of those characters and how I hated a lot of those characters as well. So it's a different vibe. But overall, though, it doesn't mean that they're bad in Fallout. It's more so about you, though, about the adventure that you're creating for yourself in the game.
All right, cool. This one, I don't know if he's trolling us with this question or if it's something that's real. Ask Richard how many sandwiches did he eat or store in his ship. Is that something that you
That's a funny question.
That's a Brett callback.
Yeah, right. Is that what it is?
Oh no, that's not a Brett callback. That's from the direct.
Oh, okay.
So I'm glad you asked that question. I personally did not get a ton of sandwiches. But I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one thing I didn't touch upon when I was talking. Is you definitely, and this is something that I think everybody should know if you're playing a Fallout, so on and so forth. You have to be mindful of how many items that you have on you while you're trying to travel, because that's the one thing that obviously you can pick up a lot of items, whether it's some resources stuff or just plain old junk, and you need to be mindful of that, because as you're traveling, it impacts your oxygen, your stamina, and it depletes a lot quicker. Now, when you do get rid of a lot of those items, you can store them in the ship. You can give some of them to your companion, or you can go back to the base of operations and leave it there. But that's something that I would, if anybody plays this game for the first time, I will highly recommend that you be mindful of that. Now, there is a weightlifting perk that you can unlock as part of all the skills. I would recommend you definitely unlock that and upgrade that if you're going to plan to carry a lot of items.
Work out, hit the gym,
lift some heavy shit.
Yeah, because as you carry all this stuff and you're running around, it definitely will build your muscle even further. So I would definitely tell someone,
acknowledge it. They were like, "Yo, you looking jacked." Remember?
Oh no. Oh no. They don't care about your physique like that. But you can definitely flirt with them if you want to at random times throughout the conversation. So yeah, that's there. But no. But the sandwich thing, yeah, I did see that footage. I I was too busy collecting other items. Whether it's health, different types of resources that I can give to the science, medicine, etc., stuff like that. We'll go ahead. What did you say, Carlos?
Yo, Rich, I have a question.
Why is it?
Why is it? I watched a podcast earlier they were talking about Starfield, and they said that one thing. It was a kind of funny podcast. Shout out to Paris. He was in that podcast. And what they mentioned is, don't bother trying to be a jack of all trades. I'm paraphrasing, but he said don't try to be a jack of all trades in this game, because it'll be a worse experience. It'll be better if you concentrate on just one thing. And I'm wondering if you feel the same about that in your playthrough.
Well, so in the context that they're saying, are they saying, what are they referring to? Like basically like with the other missions? Or are they saying to just
or like all the traits and stuff, like when you're building up your skills and stuff like that?
Oh yeah,
they're like, you want to keep a balance. They're like, don't do that. Because I also listened to it. They were like, just like focus on something that you like to do, and then that's it. Just build up those traits.
Well, I agree 100% with that, because it is a bit overwhelming when you see all of the things that you can basically upgrade. Obviously, I like to carry a lot of items, so I kept upgrading the weightlifting, because I got to, if I have a lot of items, because you'll have some missions where you have to get certain items, and sometimes that doesn't take up mass space, but sometimes it does. So you need to definitely make sure, if you like to carry a lot of items, because again, I'm not talking about just the inventory. There's a lot of different spacesuits that you can carry, a lot of different weapons, and all that weight on you definitely it will wear you down a lot quicker.
Like real life.
Yeah, so you gotta be mindful of that. The other one thing I do want to mention too, I like about the game is, again, they do have the various statuses. So obviously, if you get injured, let's say you go on a planet that is extremely cold or extremely hot, you can end up getting frostbitten, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And you may gain access to certain medicine or food that will help you when in those situations.
Eat those chili peppers.
Yeah, so that I like that a lot, because it does make it a little bit more challenging, though, because if you get into a firefight, you get destroyed, because the AI, they will challenge you. In some of those missions in the beginning. Oh yeah, it's you gotta be ready for some of that stuff, especially with the space combat specifically, because there's one particular mission towards the beginning of the game where you're trying to sneak past the ship, because they have a satellite that's in the area that can detect that you're there. So, but in order to do that, you have to power down your ship, and when you do that, that makes you more vulnerable to an attack, which means if the enemy sees you and then everything is powered down, you will die a lot faster. That ship will explode. So,
and that's when I rage quit. So there goes that. And this leads to the question I have. This is it. This is the most important question of the night.
Yes.
You ready? Who is this game for?
Oh.
Because that's the issue here. When we hear about all the issues of, they gave this a 10, they gave this a 7. But if you read, when people, because they just look at the numbers, they don't really read into what these people are saying in their reviews. So like, in my opinion, I like this type of game, or I like that type. The people giving it 10s and stuff or like we talked about, are aware this is a Bethesda game. They know what they're getting into. And then the people that are against it are upset that, why didn't they change this? Why didn't they change that? Because that's not their style. That's just not how they do things. So if someone was to say, hey, should I get this game? What would you tell them? Who is this for?
That's a great question. I would say, well, if you like Bethesda games, you like Fallout, you like action RPGs, and you specifically like things that are set in outer space, science fiction, so on and so forth, then you might like this game. If you have a particular taste and you like other stuff, then this game might not be for you. I do want to make this comment though, and this might be considered controversial. I know this game is on Game Pass, and I do expect a lot of people to try it out because it is on Game Pass. But I'm telling you right now, I don't know if it's for every person that has an Xbox. Now, obviously, I think it depends on whether or not this person likes the genre, they like the subject matter, and they like that it's a Bethesda title. I don't know how many Xbox fans love Bethesda, so I can't really say because I don't have any charts here. Like our good friend Chris always has the charts. I don't have any charts to tell you that I know exactly.
Can I ask this?
So here's the thing. This is what I've seen.
He'll go next, Brett. Don't worry about
it. Yeah. People are like, well, I'm looking for that Mass Effect replacement, because we haven't had a solid Mass Effect. Because that's really what people want. Space, shooting, fighting, all that stuff. But there's a lot more to these type of games than just shooting. And I think that's where some people may get thrown off.
So, you know what? Let me make this comment first, and then I'm going to go to Brett. I spoke to our very good friend, Mr. Anthony Frazier.
Oh, yeah. Right?
Yeah, I spoke to him. Yeah, I spoke to him a couple of days because he did ask me about the game. And I spoke to him today. And he told me he was looking for something that made him get the same feeling of Mass Effect. I personally think there are certain elements of the game where it could feel like Mass Effect in terms of the setting, but Mass Effect, I don't know if you can't really compare that because Mass Effect is a classic. Yeah. All right, this game is Bethesda starting to make it's their new IP set within science fiction outer space. So it's hard to make that comparison, but I will say I do believe that when you start playing the game, and one thing, and this is one thing that is consistent because I will also mention that ACG, which is I know that's one of your boys, Adam.
Yeah, that's my Carrick. Shout out to Carrick, friend of the show.
He had in his review. He mentioned that opening mission is very very dull, and I said the exact same thing in my review. I do not like how the game opened with that particular mission. But once I joined Constellation, right after that, the game was a hell of a lot more interesting because there's a lot of stuff that it gets into story-wise. Obviously, we couldn't talk about a lot of stuff in our review because it's spoiler information. But once you get in with Constellation and you actually start exploring, this is when the game really picks up. That first mission, though, when you're in that mining facility, when you go into that cave and you discover the artifact, I did not like that opening mission. But again, they have to set up what's happening, so I understand why they did it. But what happens after that is way more interesting than how it starts out. That's one thing I would definitely say.
Quick before we go, the map. What is this? Everyone keeps complaining that there's no map. Is there a map?
Well,
oh no, that's not good. When you start off,
when you go on the planets, they basically have these different icons that will pop up, and when basically say when you go on the planet, you're scanning stuff on the planet, you'll see an icon pops up and it will say something is unknown, and you have to travel to it to figure out to see what it is. Outside of that, there is no other map that I've seen on any of the planets. You pretty much just looking at the markers to determine if you have to go to a particular objective. And that's pretty much how you navigate. So I could understand some people may not like that aspect about it.
But again, fast travel, right? Because that's one that some people are upset that there's a fast travel. I'm like, that's a blessing. What do you mean? Like, if I don't want to do the whole commute back, if I'm doing a long trip from planet to planet, you get tired of doing it over and over again. Yeah, fast travel, right? So there's a way to fast travel.
Well, that's a great question. And once again, that fast travel is tied to how many items you have on you. Because if you have too many items on you, they don't let you fast travel. I learned that the hard way with the first mission because I had too many items and it said, "Oh, you can't. You're not able to fast travel." So you have to make sure because there's a particular number that it will tell you your weight number.
Brett knows this. That's a Fallout 76. That's a Fallout 76. You can't fast travel. You're too heavy. You're moving slow. So you got to start dropping
over encumbered.
That's
that's
Fallout in general.
Yeah, that's Fallout in general.
Also,
Skyrim. Yeah, Skyrim had that as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Brett, go ahead, man. Since you're talking.
Oh, well, I was gonna say I'm trying to figure out how to not backtrack a lot to make this relevant. So let me just ask this: a lot of the criticisms / kind of hesitancies that you have with this, would you say that a lot of them are the same ones that like you would say find in Skyrim, because like one thing I do kind of notice, a lot of people kind of seem to be taking a long way. Not you, but just in general, a lot of people seem to take a long way to say, it's got a lot of the same hiccups that you may have not liked in previous Bethesda games. So like it feels like a Skyrim / Fallout. And if that sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. Would you lump a lot of the kind of like, hesitancies under just Bethesda game stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say to some extent. The thing is that I have played Fallout and Skyrim, but there are certain aspects of Skyrim I didn't get too far into. So coming into this experience, this really was, I would say, the first time I really played a Bethesda game through, in terms of the story, as far as the RPGs are concerned. So, I could understand some stuff is going to be similar to Fallout, but I also am taking it from the perspective of, well, this is a different world. This is not 100% like Fallout because it's a different setting, different characters, a whole bunch of different aspects to it. It does have some of the same issues you've seen in other Bethesda titles, but at least for me, it's not really. It feels like Bethesda has learned from some of the things they've done in the past, because I haven't really encountered too many issues. The only thing that I will say is that the inventory system and having to manage and look at a lot of that stuff, that is, you definitely, because there's so much to do in the game, but that inventory system, there's a lot to really pay attention to with that. And you have to be mindful of that. It takes a little bit of time to get used to that. Now, obviously, if you play Fallout, it'll come to you. It'll be very easy to navigate. But I do like the character select. The screen when you can see your character, you see the status, the powers, you can see everything on there. So that's that actually, I like how they designed that because it's very easy to navigate.
Can your companions pass away, or do they survive? Like, is there those type of situations where you build a team and then you lose a few members? Is that possible?
Not. I guess non-story based deaths, right? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. I haven't encountered that. I will say that the companions, whenever we get into a shootout, the companions, they be getting destroyed by these enemies, and obviously, it doesn't impact, like, it's not something where you have to save them. They still go on as if, I just got shot about 50 times, but I'm still walking around here. I'm still talking to you about stuff. So that was I thought that was kind of funny, but no, they can't, unless it's a story specific death. It doesn't. That hasn't happened to me in the game where the companion dies.
Because I see a lot of
let me ask this real quick. Like, I assume, like many other Bethesda games, you're allowed to have one companion with you. This isn't a Mass Effect where you're carrying around 4 people with you. You got one person with you, and then other people on the ship, right?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So, like, Adam, if I'm understanding correctly, it's almost exactly like Fallout 76 is, since you've been playing that. Where you're gonna have the one companion that goes with you. They react. They talk with you. You can build relationships, have a romance, and then swap them out for somebody else. That you're not going to be getting the interpersonal dialogue that you're getting in, say, like Baldur's Gate or Mass Effect, that comes from having a party of characters all kind of interacting with each other. It's not that kind of thing.
Okay.
Correct. That's a very good explanation. Yes.
All right.
But I do want to say the game is. I do want to emphasize again, the game is very good. So I am looking forward to hearing what Brett says after he plays it on the next show.
Oh,
sure.
Rich, perfect segue to the next question, because we still got a bunch of questions here for you.
Okay.
Another one from Fergus Mills. Is the game good enough for Game Pass or full price worthy?
Somebody.
Now, shout out to Fergus Mills, because he must be referencing. He's definitely referencing Redfall in that little article that we saw about that title was a little ridiculous. Here's the thing. It definitely is very. I would say it's very good for Game Pass. I would say if somebody wants to purchase the game, I can understand that also. to an extent.
Real quick, for the plus, here's a plus. I just want there's a tie-in. They have listed where it's for like $31 that you can get the premium version. So let's say if you have Game Pass, and instead of buying the whole game, you could just pay $31 and you get like some bonus stuff. You get the DLC and stuff like that. And I thought that was pretty cool that they didn't try to just say, no, if you want this, it's either this or that's it, the premium. They're actually just selling it separate. So acknowledging that you do have the game because you're a Game Pass subscriber, and then they just charging you the add-on on top of it, which is pretty cool.
But that's the way most things on Game Pass are. Like Hi-Fi Rush is the same way. You know, where you have your Game Pass and then they allow you to pay for the upgrade, or you can buy the Super Ultra Edition.
No, well, I've seen other ones where they just charge you. They're like just straight out, like, "Oh, it's not acknowledging it."
So, cool. Let me mention that real quick. That also is, I believe, is the early access. You get to play it. You can play it now because it's starting on the 31st, which is today. I do want to say this. I personally don't really notice anything. Like if you was to purchase that, it's really just to purchase it early. I haven't noticed any additional things that I've gotten from playing that version of the game. So I don't, if somebody really wants to play the game, I would say, yeah, go ahead and spend the $30 and play it now.
Yo, by the way, Mob Hits is getting a little ornery right now, man. He goes,
what's that?
Tell Rich to stop beating around the bush and answer if it's worth the price tag. Damn.
Is it worth the price tag?
$70?
Yeah.
I would say it is.
Well, Rich, as somebody who's a reading, would say it's worth it.
Here's the situation. To answer that question very directly, okay, listen. I think people who have seen this game, Starfield Direct, they know whether or not they're buying this game. I wouldn't tell someone who is not really a Starfield fan to outright buy it because I don't. There's no telling if it. Yeah, well, yeah, but Bethesda, yeah. I'm not going to tell someone to outright buy it if they don't know if they're going to like it. I would say try it. My mindset was when I saw that Starfield Direct, I said I want to try this now because I wasn't as interested in the game when they announced it because that was a long time ago. As I said in my review, they announced this. I believe this is back in E3 2016, 2018. It's been a while. So, outright, I think someone who is a fan of Bethesda, they've seen this game. I'm pretty sure if you see this game, you know you're going to buy it. Similar to somebody who has seen Spider-Man 2, they know about Spider-Man, and they just know whether or not they're going to buy it. So I kind of feel like to answer that question, I feel like anyone's going to know whether or not it's worth their price because they're going to say that they've seen the game, they've seen enough to make that decision. But outside of that, it really depends on because again, like was already said on this podcast, it's hard to recommend it for every single person because I don't know what every person likes, and I don't think this is a game that every single person is going to want to play. But it's definitely worth checking out, 100%. So.
I don't think there's any games that are 100%. No. I mean, I kind of asked it like in the context of like Star Wars just released this year earlier this year at like a full-fledged game. Like in that world, I would like, and I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, and I haven't played it, but like my response to that would be like, bro, it's a Bethesda game. Unless you hated other Bethesda games, you're gonna get your fucking $70 out of it. Like in a world where, like I said, Star Wars launched $70 broken and like 20 hours worth of content. Like unless you hate Bethesda games, you're gonna get your money out of it. Like, but again, if you hate Bethesda games, you're not like you shouldn't buy. Like I think that's what he's kind of getting at. Like again,
Mob Hits is not happy with your answer, Rich.
Even like, but
it's a divisive game.
He wants a yes or a no.
It's a divisive game.
Okay, so hold on. So let me answer him directly. For him directly, no, don't buy the game. That's it. That's my answer to you directly.
It's true. That's it. All right, think about it. We saw this with the Pokemon situation, right? I don't play that game, but a lot of people are up in arms with the latest Pokemon game. They're like, "Oh, this isn't played right." But a lot of people still bought it when you look at the numbers because they're Pokemon fans. Regardless if it sucked or not, they still bought it. Same thing with Star Wars. If you are a Star Wars fan, you're invested in that universe, you will buy it regardless because you love the franchise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, people that are Bethesda fans, they've been waiting 25 years for a new world to be created, and here it is. They will buy it. They know what they're getting into. We always joke about, it's a Bethesda game, expect bugs. No surprise, there's fucking bugs. That's just the way it is. So, yeah, we all knew this was going to happen.
Can't even land on a gas giant. Fuck this game, you know?
Also, let me jump out there as the resident Bethesda fanboy. Like, look, if you like confusing inventory management with lots of interpersonal stuff, punctuated by somewhat mediocre combat, all from dead-eyed, potato-faced fucking companions that give you a kind of
not as potato-faced.
Not as potato-faced, but still significantly potato-faced. Like, come on, like this is all the things that make a Bethesda game a fucking Bethesda game. You're like, oh look, you can carry one companion, and you can't travel if you're overweighted. And like again, like these things are like dead-eyed abominations from nowhere. And every once in a while, somebody's gonna flip and just bug off screen. Like, it is a giant open universe that, like, it is what it is, right? And in terms of what somebody asked earlier, like, what's the difference between this and like No Man's Sky and Mass Effect? This kind of lands right in between No Man's Sky and Mass Effect. Mass Effect is a big narrative space opera with a full interactive party set in a very structured, rigid environment that is honestly mostly fucking menus, right? The No Man's Sky is a large, procedurally generated, seamless open world with zero shit to do inside of it. Okay, this is kind of like honestly
at launch. They got a lot of shit. They got a lot of shit now. They got a lot of shit. Let's be fair.
It actually looks like a trailer now.
Oh no, I'm being fair. There ain't shit to do in that godforsaken universe. Right? It's like fucking it's like the American Southwest is the entire fucking universe. Like there's nothing there except for every once in a while.
No. They added a bunch of shit to it. What are you talking about?
Let me finish, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, there's a bunch of planets, procedurally generated shit. Are there towns?
They added them. Yes, they added all this shit. They added ship combat. They added missions. They added a bunch of stuff. And I'm saying this as a No Man's Sky hater.
Yeah, okay.
You got to give the devil his due, bro.
Played this, or am I the only one in this conversation?
I played it. Are you fucking kidding me? I was playing that shit at launch, bro.
You were playing the quests at launch.
No. I'm telling you, there was nothing there, and I've seen what they've added. Like I have to acknowledge that.
What they've added, and I'm telling you, it is a shallow non-thing.
Is it more than they had? Is it more than they had?
Yes.
Oh, so there's something there.
All right.
So somebody's mind. Actually, today we got into this conversation. I never played No Man's Sky, but two of the guys did play it, and he said it's still a shit show for the first few hours. Then all the new content that they created, it comes to play. So
there still isn't a narrative. There's not a goddamn narrative. It's finding yourself towards the middle of the universe, and you come across factions, and they'll tell you stuff, and they may give you fetch quests, but there's not a story. There's not a narrative. There's not companionship or relationships. There's none of those things that you would call Mass Effect. Right? There's none of that.
Wait. Brett, that's a different statement than this game has nothing.
That's what I was trying to fucking say to you guys.
Why did you take 50? No, because you took 50 years to say. You could have said this game, it has stuff, but it's not like Mass Effect. You could have just said it like that. It would have avoided all this.
I was speaking narratively. Again, quit stepping on my fucking toes. Let me get my point out, and maybe it won't take me so goddamn long.
It's a Manscaped ad. I think we should cut to a
Yeah.
I would like to break between I would like to break between this Throwdown to advertise Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah,
if you like raiding and Shadow Legends, play Raid Shadow Legends.
Throwdown, Brett is Vision.
By the way, people, it's all good. Remember, Brett is Irish. I'm Dominican. That's just the way we communicate. It's all good.
We're good. We're good. Short version. There's no narrative in this. There's no narrative, mission structure, any of that kind of stuff. It's all free-form, open sandbox stuff.
Yeah. Again, Brett, you know how I get nitpicky about shit. I just didn't like the sentence, this game has nothing in it. There is shit in it. It just may not be good, you know?
It is sandbox stuff.
I'm being nitpicky. I just had to throw that out there.
Okay. In the context of narrative, story structure, that kind of thing, there's nothing. There's a bunch of sandbox.
I got to get you, man. I get nerdy shit too. You meant galaxy, right? Because I don't think this Starfield is it's not a universe. It's a galaxy, not a universe. You know. Anyway, go on. Actually, go ahead, Brett.
I wouldn't say it's a galaxy. It's more like a spiral, like an arm of a galaxy.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, universe.
It's a couple of solar systems.
Yeah, no, I get triggered by that shit.
There's no sense in
like
this.
the intro of Voltron, where they say solar system, galaxy, and universe, and they say like it's all the same thing. It makes my head explode. You know.
I mean, bro, there's only one galaxy in the universe in the game. So
yeah, no, but anyway, by the way, that last comment got a lot of hold on here we go. Yeah, Rich, some controversy in the chat right now, man.
Whoa.
But let me ask this question from Blitz, and then a couple comments that came from that. If someone isn't a Bethesda fan or never played a Bethesda game, would you recommend Starfield to them?
Yeah, that was a question I asked.
Yeah, well, I say if you got Game Pass, why not? I'm not like I said. I'm
not gonna like that answer.
No. But he said it for someone to buy. Let's say you don't have Game Pass. There's no trial and none of that stuff. It's like, hey, I got $75 because I'm willing to pay tax. Should I go buy this game right now?
I mean, if you're not a Bethesda fan, I mean, why would you?
Well, that's it. No, because you don't know.
What if you become a Bethesda fan?
Would this change your mind about Bethesda games? I don't think so.
No, it's not. It's not going to change your mind.
Okay.
No, but I mean, if it's just because there's a lot of people that they're hearing the hype. There's a lot of good hype about this game. Regardless of what people saying, the numbers, the scores, all that stuff. They're seeing it. They're not following it like we are. They're not following Bethesda game. They just hear, wow, good space game. Should they go buy it? I think the question would be like, what type of games do you like? Do you like a lot of shooting games and all that stuff? Then maybe. But are you into RPG and building and your character and all that? Then definitely. But it's not for everybody.
But do you like open world games? I mean, I almost said like if you liked Red Dead, you'd find similarities, like very casual similarities, but you'd find similarities in this kind of game. Like if you like big open world games, yeah, you'd like there's so many worse games that are fucking passable. Like I always forget the name of the Obsidian one that pretty much are Outer Worlds. Like, did you like Outer Worlds but wish it were better? This is that game.
Yeah, a couple of things here. Oh, go ahead, Carlos, and then I got to read some more of these comments, man. A lot of shit. These comments are spicy tonight, man. Yo, when they come after Rich, that's how you know shit is crazy.
Well, how about this? Ask a question.
Like, you don't like his answers, really?
Are they? Do they like Bethesda games?
I don't know.
Doesn't sound like a question for them. Question for them. I'm just wondering because maybe that's like someone bitching about Telltale games. I'm like, well, they're all the fucking same. Even with the new owners, the same shit. Expanse. Same thing. If you like Telltale games, you'll like this fucking game. They didn't really steer too far off the course. Same thing with this.
Go ahead, Rich.
Well, it sounds to me like what they want to hear is no, don't buy this game. It's complete garbage. And I just don't. I personally just don't feel that. I don't feel the game is trash.
No, obviously, it's a trap, man. It's a trap. Don't listen to it. Like here's honestly the deal. I'm gonna call you guys out on Richard's behalf because I think he's too nice a guy to do it. Like, look. If you all are saying, is the game worth $70? Just fucking tell us. Like, guys, come on. Like, this Tony says all the time, like, this is a bullshit hypothetical. We exist in a world where for $15 you can try this game for a fucking month. That doesn't not exist, right? So, like, if the fucking cost that you are willing to incur, or the risk that you are willing to incur, if you guys are asking, was it worth $70? That's not the fucking question. The question is it worth $15? Right? So like fucking quit being fucking obtuse about this shit. But just ask that question because I think that question has a lot simpler answers. So Richard, I'm gonna ask you that question. Is this game worth dropping $15 to play?
Yes, it is.
There you go.
Now is Redfall?
Doesn't a game have to be especially bad for you to say no to that? I don't know about that question, man.
Well, go ahead. Well, Adam, what did you just say? You about to ask a question?
Is Redfall worth $15 for 1 month to play?
Okay. Hold on. Ask that question one more time, and then I'll answer.
Okay, Redfall, like just like how he said for Starfield, that somebody paid $15 just to play it and do the whole thing.
My
$15 worth for Redfall.
My answer to that is a resounding hell no.
There we go.
Don't bother. Don't bother.
That's it. That's all.
Now listen.
So in other words, paying any money for Redfall is messed up.
Well, yeah, because they haven't done. I haven't heard any updates about this patch for the performance. Nothing on Redfall. It's kind of like they admitted that game was a flop, and then they decided, well, we're not going to bother to. We'll address this later when we figure it out. So yeah, no, I wouldn't tell anyone to spend any money on that.
There you go. But that's absolutely. What I'm saying. I think when people are trying to say, "Oh, look, they're all flop," no. It's not like that at all. Don't compare the two. These people cannot compare the two.
There's. I want to emphasize. There's a ton of shit in this game. There is a ton of things, a ton of content, a ton of systems to get used to. So it's a very good value, I would say, especially at the $15 price, like Brett said. So, but that's just my opinion. Again, a review is an opinion. Everyone has their own opinion. So if you guys have any other questions, very deep-seated questions about the game, you probably should just try it out and see how it is, because you may have a different opinion on this than I do.
Yeah. By the way, this is something Blitz said earlier, but he repeated it again, so I'm going to read it here. Actually, all I'm hearing is it's a Bethesda game, or try for free on Game Pass. Lots of caveats. I just want to know if the game stands on its own.
Well, we don't know you in person, so I don't know.
Well, apparently it's a yes because Rich gave it a 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah,
so it's
all right, so go play it.
And as I said at the very start of this particular discussion, I don't necessarily play a lot of Bethesda games. So obviously, if I like a game enough to mention it, then I think that would mean that it might be worth checking out. I'm just saying. I mean, that's common sense, right? That's all I'm saying. But again, everyone has their own opinion. You know, I will say, I know that this game was hyped up. The hype is something that, because I know it was hyped up before we even got a proper gameplay trailer. I thought that was pretty ridiculous, but we'll get into that stuff later on. But no, I would say if you want to try it, if you're interested to try it, go ahead and try it out. It's entirely up to you. Because I don't tell you how to spend your money, okay? That's entirely up to you.
Yeah. So this is what Blitz said earlier. I keep hearing it's a Bethesda game, which is starting to sound like an excuse for its shortcomings. And then J-Shep says, there are some issues I'm hearing that are not related to it being a Bethesda game. To say it's just a Bethesda game is being lazy and disingenuous.
Okay, so what shortcomings? Because, again, I think the whole it's a Bethesda game is because it's very similar to their other types of games, and hence
have you played any of their other games?
Because it's like, hey,
they have a formula that they work with.
Yeah, like if you like that type of game, i.e. Bethesda games, then you'd enjoy this. So that's the easiest way to explain it. It's like it's a Bethesda game, you know. Again, from what I've heard in terms of shortcomings, because this is what I was afraid of most, that the whole thing would just launch and you'd fall through the world in the first 5 minutes. From what I've been hearing, it's relatively stable. The combat is somewhat better than Fallout 4, so okay, it's a plus. It's in the right direction. And by the sound of it, the rest is all just standard Bethesda stuff. You know, as Brett said, it's like slightly nicer potato faces. So
yeah. I don't know. By the way, this is a perfect segue for another question that we had.
Squarespace?
Yeah.
Oh, before that, Tony, before I forget,
don't fuck up the flow.
I want to give a huge shout out to Barry Burton, who's been giving out subscriptions to everyone in the chat.
Yeah, good stuff, man.
Thanks,
and also Kishak put some highlighted comments.
Yeah, shout out to Kishak, man. You want to read them? Yeah, go ahead and read them.
Mass Effect is a space opera, and I don't think Bethesda is capable of that.
Agree.
That's interesting. Second is, I'll wait for the Game of the Year edition in 10 years.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So this is a perfect segue question from that one. Blitz asked us earlier too. Is it okay to be just another Bethesda game in 2023?
Who's that question for? Me or just anybody in general?
No, for you. But yeah, anybody can answer. But these are mainly for you, Rich.
My response is that no, it's not okay. I kind of feel like, every company should evolve over time, and because this is a new IP, I think that they definitely can have room for improvement. So I would say, but again, I feel like this is their formula. They're going to stick to what they know best. They'll improve. They improve upon things that might have been a little lacking in previous games, and they make it better. And I think for the people that support Bethesda, that's good enough. But should they aspire to do other things? Of course. But this is the first time that they're trying to do a different IP in space. So I mean, it's kind of like they're trying something new. But go ahead.
Much people say with Bethesda games, well, this is something that the fans wanted in that universe. They were like, man, can you go to space? Can you try to do something in space? And they're like, well, maybe one day. I mean, it took years, and here it is. So there is an audience that's been clamoring for something like this.
Yeah, Todd Howard is a nerd, so he'll probably always want to make one anyway.
Yeah,
I gotta ask though.
Yeah, by the way, Rich, this is from Fergus Mills. This is an old throwback to Coalition, man. He has tell Rich to bring back Cop or Flop.
Well, Mr. Fergus Mills, we are going to talk about that because I've actually been wanting to bring that back for a while. So we will talk about that soon.
You see what you did? You see what you did?
Yeah. Again, more questions here. This one's from Jay Shep. This is from like half an hour ago. I hear a lot of people saying the game opens up after the main quest. Does the main quest have any boring spots in it where you may get discouraged from completing it?
Well, there are parts that are slow. So yes, I wouldn't say that you are discouraged from completing it, because there are certain things that happen in the story where you're going to want some answers. And again, I can't really say too much of that because that would be spoiler territory. But all I'm saying is that the game, there are certain things that happen in the game that make it a lot more interesting as you play. Because the whole thing is that this artifact, you're trying to find out answers about its origin. And in the process, you discover other things that you did not know. So they do try to make some changes in terms of certain stuff that happens. But I would say no, I still was committed to finishing because I wanted to see how the story would end. So it's not going to be to the point where it's going to deter you from finishing. Again, I feel like you'll know that once you start playing. If you do play it, you'll know whether or not you want to stick around. But I'm telling you, once again, like I said earlier, that first opening mission, before you get to Constellation, I did not like that mission. Once I got to Constellation and I got to meet other characters and go on these other missions, that's when the game got a lot more interesting to me personally.
It's like a TV show. It's like when people are like, oh, I didn't like the first 2 or 3 episodes in, and then it starts picking up.
Yeah, by the way, I got to call this out. Kishak, that's an unfair question. Did Rich 100% the game? Nobody has, man.
Nobody can.
No.
But what I did, here's your question though, and this pisses me off, and somebody
wait, Rich, you beat the game, right?
Yeah, the main storyline. But there's other stuff you can do afterwards. I know I've seen people like Paris say the game picks up a lot more when
and that's what upset me
afterwards.
When Paris said and a few others, they're like, "Oh, the game really opens up post game." I hate that. I hate when I heard a lot with the Division. I'm like, "Oh, I get to the post game." It's like, then what's the point of the main game? Don't tell me I have to like brush all this off and fly through it just to get to the post game. I want the whole experience. So that really upset me when I heard it was like, "Oh, everything opens up at the end." So I got to put in over 30-something hours to get to the good stuff. I don't like that. I don't like when I hear shit like that.
Adam, I've heard more that the game isn't over. Like you can still continue playing well past like that. Almost like a Fable 3 kind of thing. Not so much that you have to beat it before it becomes playable or enjoyable. Just that, you don't have to worry because the game's not over when you beat it.
And I mean, and there are other side missions that you may want to go back and finish that you didn't finish. That are also
any of them
important.
Timed? Are there any timed ones?
They're not timed. You can literally
you leave this planet, then you just abandon all these missions because.
Oh no! You have the freedom. you have the freedom to do any mission at any time. You can have it selected, and then you can go right back to it.
I think Adam's asking, like, will certain quests like lock other quests? Maybe is that what you mean, Adam?
Like, let's say, like if you're in an area and it says, "Hey, listen, we need you to save this family because there's some big storm coming or whatever," and you leave that planet, is it done? Like, oh, you didn't go, and there was that storm that was coming. You should let them die.
Okay, Adam, I gotta ask, because like you're a perfect example of this. Like, what makes you think that would be the like
Dead Rising? Dead Rising did that shit, and that pissed me off.
Like mainstream games don't really do that. It's like, where are people? And I'm asking you this because like I think like you're kind of in that spot. Like, why are people asking all of these questions about like, is this thing going to turn my pee into drinkable water? Is
that possible? That's a good way to conserve, resources.
Well, that last question was a good one because there are games that do that. Final Fantasy 16 does this, where it's like if you don't do these types of missions beforehand, happens.
Or they'll tell you when you leave this area, you're quitting all these missions.
Doesn't also Fallout say, "Hey, this is the point of no return"?
Dead Space remake, a bunch of them do that. They're like, "Hey, if you go through here, that's it. You can't do anything. You sure you want to go forward?" So that's what I'm wondering. If you're leaving planets, if you're planet hopping like this, I'm just wondering if that ever happens. Like, oh, if you leave this planet, you left halfway through that mission. There's like 5 objectives. You did 3 of them. Do you go back and continue the last 2, or do you have to start over?
Oh no, you can go back and continue.
All right, see, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you can play it at your own pace.
There'll probably be something that says, "Man, what the fuck took you so long to get this shit done, man? This has been like a year."
That's like,
I still want to know why in Zelda Princess isn't like, "Where the fuck you been?"
Yeah, especially that last one.
Or Mario.
Brett, the guys in the chat are saying you're getting overly defensive about this game, even though you haven't played it.
No. I'm just genuinely like, okay, so here's the question, like, I don't understand. Like, and this is the thing that I've been seeing a lot. I'm not sure if like people are just expecting this thing to kind of be the second coming of Jesus, or if they're being disingenuous or whatnot. But like, they seem to be asking questions about like, is this game going to be the cultural Fallout, phenomenon to Mass Effect, or are we going to be allowed to build and drive custom rovers across a procedurally generated landscape? Like, just stuff that like they've never really said or isn't really standard. And like, I'm just kind of sitting here be like, what the fuck do y'all understand what like Skyrim in space means? Like, it's just seems like whether or not you like this game, and whether or not like this game does, it seems to be exactly what it promised to be, and that to some people that's going to be a very bad thing. So like I'm kind of curious like where these kind of expectations are coming from when it never really said it was going to do a lot of things. Like, again,
I think a lot of times I'm not saying it's the people in the are fans, but I just feel like a lot of times it just feels like a lot of agenda behind it. Where it's like, oh, well, this thing is... it's like, you should ask the same question about any of these other games. Oh, hey, does Spider-Man allow you to do this, even though they never ever said that it did this thing?
Well, and that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? It just seems like they're just grasping, like some folks are just grasping at these specific things because they've already made the decision of not wanting it. So they're just like, all right, now we're just looking for a bunch of things to sort of go off of. Like, it's just like the best thing to say to anybody about it. And this is like, for me, like, Starfield is not a game that I really care about. I've never really cared for Bethesda games. Is this going to change my mind? Doesn't sound like it does. It will. So I'm not going to play it. And I feel like that's the way people should just treat this. Like, in other words, if you have a history with Bethesda games, and you're, and just like said, okay, a lot of people are just saying this seems like more of the same Bethesda fare. Then maybe that means if you didn't care for the previous ones, maybe you want to just stay away from this one and just play the games that you sort of like, right?
Yeah, exactly. It kind of reminded me when like people are like, when Elden Ring comes out, like, so is Elden Ring going to have multiple branching dialogue choices? Like, well, no, it's a Souls game. That's not what Souls games have ever done. I'm expecting that they're probably going to do Souls game stuff and just give you more of that. The same with Bethesda. Bethesda, he's like, is this going to have branching storylines and 100 different endings like Baldur's Gate? Like, no, this is a Bethesda game.
Here's the thing. Like, I can get like the idea of like, okay, Bethesda going against the rain, against their usual fare of type of games, but I don't feel like, at least from what Rich has been saying and from a lot of stuff we've been hearing from everybody else, it's like, oh, okay, it's Bethesda game in space.
Yeah, and that's what I figured it was.
Yeah,
I don't know what people were expecting, but
yeah, like like you guys in the chat was asking a lot of these questions. Like, what did you have any expectations for this game, or is it just that you just want to hear, you just want to hear a yes or no for a game that may or may not be right for you?
By the way, Mob is still waiting for an answer from Rich.
Well, and by the way, I will interject with the Mob Hit stuff. Mob Hit said that he asked if the game lived up to the hype, and the crazy thing is, Rich wasn't even that hyped for this game, so it's like difficult to even answer that type of question.
Yeah, like Rich, you weren't even that hyped for it. You're just like, all right, this looks cool.
So let me answer. Let me answer that question.
Yeah, go ahead. And then another thing is like Jay Shep is saying that Todd Howard said this game has everything and you could do anything you want. So that's why they're asking these questions.
Can you brush your teeth? Can you wipe your ass? There's a lot of things you still can't do in games.
There's a lot of this.
Yeah, go ahead, Rich. Go ahead, Rich.
We have the Nemesis system.
The spice tonight, man. You motherfuckers wasn't playing. Let's go. I haven't even gotten to my rant yet. I love it. Anyway, go on, man.
So let me piggyback off of something that Carlos said. I was not hyped for this game, and I've said it in my review. And once again, you can go to thecoalition.com and read that review, and then you'll see what I had to say about it.
Yeah, make your own decision, right? No, figure out.
Yes, exactly. But I was not hyped for this game. Okay, so coming in, I thought I thought it was very good after playing it. Now, to answer the question, is it worth purchasing? That's what they keep asking, right?
Yeah.
So for Jay Chef, shout out to Jay Chef.
Jay Chef, by the way, real quick, Mob Hits is the one asking yes or no.
My fault. Mob Hits. So for Mob Hits, I know you want a definitive answer. For you, it doesn't sound like you're interested in the Bethesda game, so I would say don't bother getting the game. It's as simple as that. All right. Now, what I will say is this. Again, this is a game where it was a lot of hype for the game before we even saw gameplay. And even after the Starfield Direct, there was a period of time where I didn't really see any marketing whatsoever for Starfield. I even had questions. I had conversations with our good friend Gary Swaby. I'm like, what's going on with the marketing? Because this game is coming out next month. So when is Microsoft and Bethesda going to start talking more about this game? And then when they had the Gamescom show last week, that's when we saw that trailer. This is the type of stuff I was expecting to see, the commercial trailer for the game. And I said, okay. And at that same time, that's when people got access to the review copies. So I figured, okay, so that's the strategy they went with. But even still, before that Starfield Direct, I wasn't hyped for this game. Let me talk about another game I wasn't hyped for, didn't know anything about. It's a game called Sea of Stars. If you go to thecoalition.com, starts with a K. I gave that game a 10 out of 10. That game is the shit. So I would tell you to play that game because, again, turn-based RPG game. So if you want to answer to the question between Starfield and Sea of Thieves, it doesn't sound like
Your Stars. Don't worry.
I'm sorry. We're not doing that. So if you want a definitive answer between those two, I will answer that, and I will say, based on it doesn't sound like you're interested in Starfield. You might be interested in Sea of Thieves, but I tell everybody Sea of Thieves. I keep saying that. Sea of Stars. That is 100% a game you should play if you are into action RPGs that are turn-based.
It reminds me of when I tell everybody they pick up the new FIFA, and they're like, "Why?" I mean, everyone loves this game, but should I get it? No. If you don't like the international sport, then don't fucking get it. But to me, it's about a game.
Exactly.
It is.
It's really about preference. Mm-hmm. What do you like? I can't tell you. You know yourself better than I know you. So you know And again, listen, we had a Starfield Direct. A lot of reviews and videos dropped today on Starfield. You can find out literally everything you need to know about the game by looking online. So if you see all that stuff and that still is not you're not convinced that you want to try it out, then why even bother asking the question? Is it worth buying? You're not going to buy it, but someone else might buy it. So it is what it is.
Yeah, here's a related question from Blitz. If I like Western RPGs like Baldur's Gate 3, should I buy Starfield? I don't care who made it.
So now here's the thing. That's a great question because I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet. I hear that game is amazing. So I can't answer that question. I have to play that. That's on my list.
Can I jump in here real quick?
Yeah.
Don't go to the
maybe
bar.
Clarify something. Okay. If you haven't played a Bethesda game, the thing I think that's really difficult to express is we're not talking about a pedigree. We're talking about a style of game, an approach of game, or an approach to gaming that is unique to one specific company, right? That's like saying this is like a GTA game, right? Like, nothing's quite like Grand Theft Auto. There's things that try and be like Grand Theft Auto.
Saints Row.
Is Saints Row actually Grand Theft Auto? No.
Segue for later.
Yeah, but like you wouldn't even say that they're the same thing. Like it's a very unique, like there's one company that does this one very specific thing. Kind of like From Software and Souls games, right? Like are there other companies that make Souls type games? Yeah, kind of. Is it the same experience? No, not at all. So it's not saying like, oh, Bethesda is this pedigree, right? Like Bethesda makes games that are so open that you almost get bogged down in minutia, right? Like you walk past the table and you can pick up literally everything on that fucking table. It is wildly unnecessary. But it's that option of choice that kind of draws people into these games, right? So, like, there's going to be a ton of inventory management in this game, right? Like, everybody kind of has the first thing where every time they play a Bethesda game, like, an hour in, they're like, why am I always over encumbered? Well, because it's a different type of game, right? Like, so, like, you may like that or you may not. But when people are saying it's a Bethesda game and you're like, well, I don't care who makes it, we're not telling you who makes it because we're trying to say it's good. There's things that come along with it. You know, this is kind of the same way of saying
their
like
style. It's their style. That's it.
Yeah, it's almost like you know, like the when Square did specific style RPGs, right? You know, when they did turn-based RPGs, their turn-based RPGs or a specific kind that Square used to sort of redo and reinvent.
Yeah,
this is the same sort of idea.
Yeah, here's the thing, because I'm seeing some of the guys in the chat kind of they don't like the fact that we're just going, it's a Bethesda game, but it is, you know. And I kind of like what Logic Win said. It's like a Bethesda game is almost its own genre, you know. So you kind of have to accept it that way, you know. Again, it's. If you I know you guys don't like the answer, but this is pretty simple. If you like Bethesda games, you will like this game. If you don't like Bethesda games, you will not like this game.
It's kind of like you know, rock stars you know, known for certain type of you know, open world game, like what Brett said. It's the same sort of idea.
Yeah, but I gotta answer this because this is good. Blitz, you brought this up before, and I wanted to answer it then, but I'll do it now because this is a good point. He goes, okay, Brett is making a good point about styles of games, and Bethesda games is a style. I would just assume Xbox/Microsoft would want a more universal appeal with their next big game. Here's the thing: Bethesda games are universal appeal as fuck. Yeah. Skyrim is still being remade 10 years later. You know, so they already have so basically, I'm just saying the mass appeal is already baked in. You know?
Yeah, it's
Mike. He only plays one type of game. Bethesda games. He's buying Xbox specifically for this. And you know what game he played before this? Fallout 3. You know what he played before that? Skyrim. He only plays these games, you know? And Mike, you know, we love him. He's a normie, you know?
Shout out to Mike.
Yeah, this game definitely has mass appeal, or this genre or whatever.
The Arabian rock and mass appeal. There you go.
So, can I make a quick comment?
Yes.
Yes.
And we still got questions for you.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I want to hear those questions next, but let me just answer one question right now.
Controversy on Throwdown tonight, man.
Yeah, this is a question that I don't know if this is one of the questions somebody's going to ask you, but I want to answer this now. Will Starfield save Xbox? The answer is no, because Xbox, and Phil Spencer has said himself, they have a long way to go. Even if this game got an 11 out of 10, his exact words, we have a long way to go.
This wasn't going to be.
But I will say, it is a game that you can play, because we as Xbox fans, if you don't know, I was an Xbox fan heavily, because Xbox Live is, when I started playing online, that was the console that I was on. But as an Xbox fan, I will tell you, we still need more games. So I want to clarify that right now. For those if they're going to ask that question.
You mean you need more exclusives?
Yeah, right.
Yes. More exclusives.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, because games, there's plenty of games that is.
We need more gears.
Oh, I have one question. Right. You can play this at your own pace.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I want to read this next question from Jay Shep.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Going back to what Blitz mentioned.
Yeah.
We also he mentioned if this is their big Xbox / Bethesda game, it should have more universal appeal. Well, this is the game that Bethesda started working on before the whole Microsoft acquisition.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other question. This one is for like all of us. He says. Tony and the crew, which is all of us, is some of the scrutiny Starfield is receiving related to the greatness of Baldur's Gate 3? No, if Baldur's Gate 3 didn't exist, this game would get the exact same amount of scrutiny for two main reasons. One, it's a Bethesda game, and there are people who don't like them. Remember, I've been very critical of fucking Bethesda games. You know, listen to we've been doing this shit for like 12 years, people. It's all on record, right? But let's just be real. Why is this game getting so much scrutiny? Because it's a fucking exclusive. Every exclusive gets this amount of scrutiny. Wait for Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Remember, Spider-Man's coming. Watch, it's gonna get the same shit. Every single exclusive gets shit.
Puddles? I can't.
Where's the puddles at? Oh, I can't jump in this game. Oh, the animations are reused. Listen, it's gonna it happens, man. You know.
And let me piggyback off of Tony, because he is 1,000% correct. Because it's on Xbox, I'm telling you, all the bullshit we saw today, none of that would exist if this was on PlayStation as well. But because it's on Xbox, that's where you saw a lot of people talking all types of crazy stuff today.
And let's just be real here. If this game was a PlayStation exclusive, the fanboys yelling, the roles would have been reversed. Let's just be real here. The PlayStation guy shitting on this game would love it, the greatest game of all time. And the Xbox fans who love it would say it's the biggest piece of shit ever, you know? Because that's how fanboys roll, man. Okay, so go ahead, man. Go ahead, Carlos. Go ahead because I got more questions for Rich.
So just going back to that question, they're not bringing it down because of it has an 87 on Metacritic. So, but the reviews have been
that's trash according to some of these guys.
To some people,
anything less than 100 is trash. You know.
So that means that
Also, I want to throw in here.
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead, Brian.
Does this mean that Final Fantasy 16 is trash?
My name is
Brian.
Trash console, trash exclusives.
Yeah, but Brian, would Final Fantasy get in Metacritic?
I think the same, like 87 or something.
Ooh.
It's about it's almost the exact same. I was just want to throw in there. I don't want to take up any time. I just want to throw in there. Like when people are like I feel like Microsoft should have released a more universally appealing game. Y'all realize that this is the 7th best-selling video game of all time, right?
Is it
Starfield?
Now, Starfield, even before it's ever been out.
Yeah, no, Brett. Okay. I made that point before. It's like Skyrim's been remade for like the last 10 years. That's universal appeal. No. You know?
I just wanted to put a firmer number on that because I had to go look it up.
It's
sold 60 million copies and is the 7th best-selling game of all time. So when they're like, it's like Skyrim in space, you don't really need a sales pitch a lot better than that. Like, I understand there are people out there who have never played it, and like, by all means, you're probably going to hate this. Like, again, it feels niche. I'm surprised it honestly got as big as it did, but
no, it's not niche though.
It feels so different. It does feel like I agree with the statement. It feels like its own genre. Like, oh my god, yeah, okay, that probably is the best way to put it.
I mean, it's like, again, like you put it. We've already put these examples up, with where it's there is a From Software type of game, there is a Bethesda type of game. There are these studios that make very sort of similar games. They have a specific style. So, what is the problem?
So, also going back to the whole Baldur's Gate thing. It's not to a detriment of Starfield. Baldur's Gate is going to win Game of the Year this year on most of the websites.
I agree with that.
So every big game is going to be compared to Baldur's Gate from now on until something else comes out.
I will say it does make Starfield look a little less shy. Like I'll be honest, like even as somebody who likes Bethesda, I'm like, bro, like y'all got outshined a little bit, like. Yeah, like it's great having companions in Starfield or in any Bethesda game until you have 3 amazing companions at a time that all dynamically interact with each other. Like I'm just coming off on Baldur's, like y'all spoiled me. It is going to be tough dropping from Baldur's Gate into Starfield just because if I hadn't played Baldur's Gate, I wouldn't be spoiled this way, man. But I am, and so here we are. Yeah, it's going to make people more critical, and I know if somebody who like loves Bethesda games the way I do, like feels that way, then there's a lot of people who aren't necessarily 100% in the Bethesda wheelhouse. They're going to be asking very valid questions. Yeah. Why is there only one? Like, why are there only, X amount of endings? Why can I only carry one companion at a time? Why is the narrative not deep? I don't know.
But also, can I bring up
not working right now.
Go ahead.
Why is it cutting me?
I got cut 2 times already during this show.
I do have a quick scenario. If you guys would regale on it real quick.
Entertain you mean? Yeah.
Well, yeah. So
indulge. That's the better word.
Indulge. Yeah, that's the better word. That's a better term. So I'm gonna play Starfield. I have Game Pass, but I'm thinking about buying the game. Because because a month from now, or a little bit more than a month from now, I'm gonna be out for a whole month, and I need and I'm probably want to play it, and the Steam Deck is probably the only way I would be able to play it on the go. So I'm thinking, would you guys, if you guys were in my predicament, would you buy the game or just get it on Game Pass?
Carlos, you have money. Buy the game.
Well, you don't need to know. You don't need to buy it. Just buy that 31 whatever, and just.
Will that work on a Steam Deck though? Will it work on? You know what I'm saying?
PC. Oh, if he does the PC, yeah, you can play PC one.
Unless you want to stream it on xCloud,
you could do that too. Yeah, but we don't.
Is it stream?
Yeah,
streamable.
Yeah, it's streamable.
Yep.
Oh, I did.
It's on Game Pass, of course it is.
Well, not all Game Pass games are.
Yeah, but it's an exclusive.
Oh, good shit, Brian.
Yeah, good stuff. There you go. All right. Now these questions are not controversial. They're just about actual builds and shit, Rich. So this will be a change of pace. Jay Shep, what build did RBJ start with? Was he satisfied with its perks? So yeah, what build did you start with, Rich? And were you satisfied with it, with the perks it came with?
Oh man. I believe I did the Neon Rat build. Well, that was one of the traits actually. I don't have the game on right now, so I can't tell you the exact build. I would have to take a second to pull up the screen. But I mean, I didn't really venture from anything other than what I had started with, because what I had noticed is when you have certain traits, it impacts, how you have certain conversations. Like, for example, the Neon Rat option that I chose, when I went to Neon City, I had another option of dialogue that I could use because I was supposed to, act like I'm really gritty. I know what it's all like, what the dirty underbelly of the city was. So I was able to talk that way to certain people to try to intimidate them. So stuff like that. But I didn't venture from doing any of that other stuff. Say what?
You a bully? You Yo, run your pockets. Well, oh man, this is how you robbing people in the game.
No.
Go ahead.
And the other thing is, I kind of mentioned that my backstory. I was a bit of an alien to some extent, considering my background. So that kind of impacted, because there is an option for, as far as breathing, you can, depending on what type of character you build, you can have a situation where you build a character where they have a different type of oxygen in terms of they're able to take up oxygen quicker, or it just depends on that type of stuff. But there's a lot of things to choose from, so it took a while to build my character. So I'm just saying it probably would take someone a little bit of time to figure out what they want to do with their character.
Yeah, another one here is what abilities have you unlocked and which ones have been your favorite?
Now, I don't know if I could talk about that because
spoilers. Is to be careful here.
That's spoilers, and that is one thing, and that's one thing I will say, because for those that are reviewing the game, there's a lot of stuff that they said we don't want you to talk about this because of spoiler territory. What I will say is that I've seen this discourse online about there being certain planets you go to and there is nothing there. That's not necessarily true in the instance where you go to the planets where there is something there that you have to get, because sometimes you can go to a planet and there's no life, and then you go to another planet and then there is life. And I did go on to one planet where there was life. As I was surveying the area, all of a sudden you get too close to the creatures on that area. Now they coming after you and you have to kill them too. So some of that stuff is in there. But to answer the question about the abilities, I don't really want to get into that because that's a spoiler. I will say, as you progress through the game, I'll put it this way, there are other things that you can do besides shooting people. And that stuff, it kind of sucks that we wasn't able to talk about that in the actual review, because it changes a little things that you can do. So they try to add other things that you can do in certain situations. But yeah, I don't want to say anything to spoil nothing at the moment.
Yeah. Here's an interesting / weird question from J Shep. Is there any magic in the game? I'm going to assume no, because it's a sci-fi game, No.
There isn't magic. The abilities are very interesting. I'll say that, because everyone knows I like to say interesting.
Yes.
But no, there's no magic in the game. No magic. The abilities, however, are again special things that you can do, but that's not really magic. This is just, and there's an explanation for that in the game as well. But all of that is spoiler stuff I can't really get into.
Yeah, fair enough. What else do we have here for you? This is another interesting one from Jay Shep. Is there any indication the Series X held Starfield back?
Okay, let me answer that.
Yes.
Let me answer that question. There still are some loading screens, so I guess you could say yes to some extent. For the Series X, though, as I said earlier, I know that this game is 30 frames per second. It did not hinder. I didn't have any issues with that. I did have some issues with some bugs, as expected, but very, very few bugs that I've experienced. One of the bugs, I will say, though, I did have to reset the game and then start it back up again. That was before the day one patch, but I've been playing since the day one patch, and again, no other issues. So that was a one-time occurrence that I had the issue with a bug that serious where I had to restart the game. But the bugs are still there in the game, obviously. Yeah. So I don't know the people who were saying that there are no bugs.
They're tripping. They're tripping.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And last question here from Mob Hits. Ask Rich if this game would have been better multiplat or if it was meant to be on Xbox. It's a strange question.
I mean, the thing about it is, I feel like in general, and I'm sorry to jump over this, but it's already been suggested that this game was at some point going to be a multi-platform game.
Yeah.
But obviously, because it wasn't officially announced as a multi-platform game, they used that as a reason to keep it as an exclusive. Would it have been better? I don't think so. It would have been probably the same.
Yeah. It would have been a Bethesda game. I know the guys in the chat don't like hearing that, but that's what it is.
That's a Bethesda game.
So here's the thing. I agree. I agree with what Manny said. It would have been the same. I will say what would have been better is that I wouldn't have to go online and see people bitching and complaining because one game is on one console and it's not on the other. So that is one thing that I think would have been great, because I'm telling you right now, a lot of people complaining right now, there wouldn't be any complaints if they had access to this game as well. So I think that's valid. One thing I will say though is, and this is just my opinion, I understand that Xbox, Microsoft, they made the decision to purchase Bethesda. That's fine. Sony's going to purchase other companies. It's fine. But I really am waiting to see when Microsoft makes these purchases, how they are actually going to make a purchase, and then the studio and Microsoft are working on something new, not working on something prior to getting acquired, and then that becomes the game that's on the platform. That's what I'm waiting to see with all these acquisitions that Microsoft have done, because clearly they have talent working on some stuff. So I want to see them. At that point, I would consider a game that is an exclusive to be an actual exclusive once Microsoft actually is doing more, and it's not just Bethesda working on this title and now it comes out as a Microsoft release. So we'll see what happens in the future. But to answer the question, I think it would have been the same on either PlayStation or Xbox if it was out on both consoles.
Yeah. Okay, so we still have a bunch of other topics I want to get to, but we still haven't gotten to the main thing I want to, right? And I just realized, two things. This episode 450, and I don't have to work tomorrow. So we're going to go longer if we need to, man. You know?
Whoa, we're doing it live.
Yeah, because we got to cook tonight, man. We got to cook. Rich, you gave me the perfect segue. We got to talk about the motherfucking review controversy, man. Because
what did they do? Well, what did they have, man?
Yeah,
Where's Bucky?
And here's the thing. I want to give a shout out to Kishak and Blitz. They said they were on Twitter this week and they didn't see much of Starfield. I envy you, because I couldn't open up fucking Twitter without seeing Starfield, and it was a fucking mess. And here's the thing. To be fair, it's been a mess for 2 weeks ever since reviewers and influencers said I got the code. Review embargo breaks. It's been fucking chaos on Twitter, right? And today was especially chaotic, man. There's so much shit to cover, man. Like we'll try to get through it all, but so the game comes out, reviews are out. The big controversy is that GameSpot and IGN dared to give the game a 7 out of 10. Controversy from the Xbox specifically. You know, all the fucking shells for Sony. Why didn't they rate it higher? You know, all this nonsense, and then the shit with Eurogamer. I don't know if you guys saw that shit. That was fucking crazy. As a matter of fact, and Andre, I specifically want your take on this, man. Basically, Eurogamer made a post on their website explaining why they didn't get a review code. They were bitching, basically, right? An hour later, they get a review code. But the thing is, they gave the code to Digital Foundry, and Eurogamer and Digital Foundry are tied together, right? But they were upset Digital Foundry didn't get a code. They were upset Digital Foundry got a code, and they didn't. They bitched online, and he got a code later. To me, that's some scummy shit as a journalist, man.
No, man. What you do is you contact your fucking people. You contact your contact, and you get like, hey, Eurogamer and Digital Foundry are two different parts of the same whole. Can we get a code? If not, I mean,
handle it behind the scenes. Don't make a post on your website, man. So
no, man, that's not how it works nowadays, man. No, you don't go email. You don't go email the PR people and go, "Hey, we were wondering why we didn't get a code. We were wondering if there was any kind of stipulations, anything we didn't submit, blah blah blah." No, you have to go on Twitter and bitch about not getting a code. No, that's not how it works. No, that's how it works back in the day. That's what the old folks do. The way they do it now, they just have to bitch about it online and then hopefully they'll get a code. No, this whole thing is just fucking stupid. You mean to tell me out of all the games that are out right now, you don't have anything else to write about? Seriously?
Yeah. So I just your
sister company got the code.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't. You're part of the same entity. Who gives it? Okay. Anyway, whatever.
To be honest, you just go.
Go ahead.
I can't get the code like my buddy did. Oh my god. Shut up.
To be honest, that sounds a lot like the way Kotaku tried to pull it too. Oh, the reason why we're not reviewing this game is because we got a code. We didn't get a code.
You make a post. Yeah, you make a post bitching about you didn't get the code. Make a post about something else. Fuck out of here.
Yeah. So an hour later, they got a code because they took it to the streets. I'm like, yo, that's I don't know that. Like, as a journalist, that's some scummy shit. It's mad scummy, man.
To be honest, as soon as that happened, they should have fucking cut them off for doing that stupid shit.
They should have. Should have cut them off.
But that's the reason Eurogamer didn't get a code in the first place.
Yeah. Maybe because they know they're a bunch of fucking babies.
That's what I was told. The reason they didn't get it because they bitch about shit too much. They need to shut up.
Yeah, no, but going back to the fanboys, like these guys have just been on a tear today, like coming after Paris specifically, because it was stupid. So,
see, man, that right there, dude. No, man, no, come on. I saw that, man. I want to punch that dude in the face.
Yeah, so basically, real quick, and I'm gonna play you like an audio because I think I've said this before. Like me, Danny, and Paris were like on WhatsApp to talk shit about some of these fanboys and stuff. And I asked him like, yo, because I sent him a voice message. I'm like, can I play this on Throwdown? Yeah, go ahead. So I'll play that for you in a bit. But basically, just to give you context, so this one YouTuber, I guess he is, what are these guys? I'm not going to call him an influencer. He's not an influencer because nobody knows him, Right.
Oh, okay. I had to look him. Yeah. I had to look him up on 3 different sites. I had to look him up on 3 different things. I'm like, what?
I had this conversation with George today. But basically, an influencer is a content creator, but a content creator doesn't always have to be an influencer. Influencer, you actually have to be known. So this guy's just a content creator. So he went on saying that he found it weird that Paris, who's on Xbox podcast, was sent the fucking Spider-Man special edition console from Sony PS5, right? This guy was saying, in case you didn't know, so PlayStation.
No, I saw.
Okay, you saw it.
I saw it. Like he had the Starfield console and he had the Spider-Man console.
So one guy, this dude, whatever the fuck his name is, he was saying that he wasn't upset that Paris got it, while also saying he was upset, So it was just funny. So I saw that shit, and I had to send this message.
He was a walking contradiction of himself.
Yeah. Can you guys hear this shit, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me get because I do say some stuff I can't say on air here.
Get ready for that post bunch of shit. And
all right, here we go. Let me skip a little bit forward. I get to the cooking.
It's funny because
wait. Oops. You guys can just hear it like this, right?
Starfield or anything, but I was pretty much in charge of making sure that review went out.
I can say that,
And the guy who reviewed it first,
I don't want to say that live. All right, here we go.
It was good.
Oops, sorry. Here we go.
Did it in a different format.
Damn it! I talked a lot of shit.
Hey, man, take that.
No, it's WhatsApp.
$29.99. They just look fucked up. So I had to go in there.
Yeah.
Whoa. One of our other writers. He had the game.
Come on, Tony.
Yo, Tony. I think we should
just
this ain't working.
Tony, get your Tony. Mute yourself off.
Yeah,
and get yourself to the right position. We'll vamp until you get it there.
Talk amongst yourselves.
The latest Manscaped, it won't nick you, but don't get too close to
don't forget.
You will have problems.
Adam, don't forget about the ball cream.
Yo, by the way, Manny,
that gets me itchy. It does get me itchy, but it's a little wet. I get that saucy feeling.
Manny, when you dropped and came back, I think your mic switched.
Oh, it did? Oh, hold on. I can't actually hear what I sound like. But yeah. Let me switch it.
Here, how I sound better?
There you go. Perfect.
Let's just talk about that ball cream for Manscaped, my friend. Anyway.
What about the ball cream and Raid?
The new ball cream and Raid Shadow Legends.
That is a game changer.
What about the barn and bowl?
All right, I'm good now. Let's see if you guys can hear this now.
A lot better. So
all right.
It's funny. I'm not covering Starfield, but I was.
Why? Okay, fuck WhatsApp. It went to the wrong spot.
On, man.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put myself on mute. I'm going to let it run, and then I'm going to just jump in when it gets.
Or you can paraphrase it.
Well, no, I think he wants to play. I think he wants to play the thing for it. So, I mean, to be honest, I've been sort of, not even paying attention to a lot of the Starfield stuff.
Like hypertension watching that video because of the amount of salt I ingested. Yo, that dude is salty as fuck, Paris. Like he was trying to say, I'm not upset. Paris got the bundle. Yes, you fucking are, bruh. You're mad upset, and it's funny because look at his background, right? PlayStation shit everywhere. Motherfucking posters, Ghost of Tsushima. He even had a little PlayStation button like logo. Where did that fanboyism get you, man? It didn't get you nowhere, motherfucker.
Whoa!
And Paris, why? Again, we keep talking about this. Me, you, and Danny, right? Why are we where we are right now? We're not fucking shills, man. We're just doing our thing right, and companies know that shit, so they want to fuck with us, Meanwhile, companies see clowns like that, they're like, fuck that shit, So that's why we are where we are right now, because we do our things right, and people recognize it, Yo, I could go off on this shit right now, bro. Watching that video, man, got me heated. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with some of these quote-unquote gamers and shit, fucking influencers and shit? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, but as I said, I'm not surprised by the reactions too. From both sides. You have the fucking ponies. Anybody that gives the game even a good review, they got paid off. Then the dumbass Xbox, the game gets less than a 10. They just hate on Xbox. Like, both of you are fucking corny, man. Both sides. So, but again, not unexpected, man. So tonight, Throwdown, got our boy Richard Bailey on, he reviewed the game, so we want to ask him questions about it. And I'm going to go off on these fanboys, man. I'm going off on these motherfuckers because these guys have just been giving all of us a bad name. Gamers and shit giving all of us a bad name, man. It's upsetting, but it is what it is, man. But you know what? Let the motherfuckers hate. Because the game looks like it's dope and people are really going to enjoy it, man. So that's what matters in the end. The real gamers, not these fake assholes who spend more time on Twitter than they do actually playing video games. Because I tell you this, man, if they played more video games, they'd probably be happier. Instead of being fucking miserable, being on social media, talking shit all day, Anyway, that's all I had to say, man. I'm fucking heated right now. Bro, fuck.
Yeah, I captured that perfectly there.
Man, I didn't hear no Paris in there. What happened to that?
No, because it's a voice message I sent, But yeah, so I was like, I could repeat all that, or I just play it for you guys because it's super. And again, that video just encompassed everything I've seen. But it's just funny. Like there was this one guy. He listed like 10 different journalists, Paris being among them. He says, if these guys give Starfield a good review, they should all be fired. Like, it's just been insane, So, like, again, I purposely try not to go on Twitter, right? But it seems like, oh, you skip Twitter. Let's compress everything you would have seen in a 1 hour time span to 1 minute. You know, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. It's like when I don't think that this fucking community can let me down anymore, they keep doing it every fucking time, you know? So I'm just waiting for what chaos is going to come from Spider-Man, because you know that's going to be ugly too, you know? Very fucking upsetting, man. But it's upsetting because it was expected. They're acting exactly how I thought they would be, you know? It's fucking nuts, man. Overview. And here's the thing. On both sides, these idiots haven't played the game, so you can't judge if it's bad or good. I've never understood this shit. Remember Killzone 3 back in the day on X-Play? X-Play gave it a 10 out of 10, right? Motherfuckers got mad on both sides. I'm like, why are you mad? You haven't played the game, you know?
Dude, I'm calling it now. Before like people get up on the Spider-Man game, be like, so are there like multiple different branching narratives? And everyone will be like, bro, did you not play the first Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Quit being disingenuous.
Yeah, Logical Win says.
No.
Go ahead.
No, not really.
No,
not really. They're too busy playing games. They're like, okay, that's cool, whatever. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit. They don't.
Can I ask a question to the panel?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Who's and I'm just curious, who's playing Starfield in here?
Rich.
Rich played it. I'm playing it. Brett's playing it. I'm curious.
Who will play it? Okay, yeah, there you go.
Well, I mean, I saw it was for free on Game Pass, so I put a thing on to download
real
it.
quick. Jay Shep says, all right, guys, I'm about to dive into this game. Thanks for answering my questions, Richard Bailey Jr. and Otaku Man. Fire show tonight, and thanks. Have a good night. Enjoy the game, brother. Enjoy the game.
Oh, yeah. Have fun, bro. Have fun, Jay Shep.
Yeah.
Do it. Anyway, go on. Who was talking?
So Manny said you.
Yeah, I saw it for free on there, so I said, all right, let me try it out.
Manny, you excuse me?
Yeah, it's not gonna get into it, but I mean, I want to try it out and see what the hubbub is.
Manny, would you say the game is good enough for Game Pass?
You know what? Why not? In Manny dimension, sure, it's good enough for Game Pass. I just so happen to have Game Pass, so why not? Put it in, don't take a lot to download. Well, actually, no. I say it doesn't take a lot to download it, but to be honest, I tried to download it on this freaking Hotel Wells Wi-Fi, and it kicked me off of Throwdown off the stream. So I'll do that. I'll do that when I get home, or I'll let it do it overnight.
So yeah, let's take a count here. So Carlos, Brian, Brett, Richard. I'm assuming Chris as well. You like Bethesda games?
Oh yeah. I still have Game Pass, so I'm getting it.
Yeah, I'll play too. So that's me as well.
I'll play.
No man, but this game is a multiplayer.
I'll play it one day.
Yeah, you'll play one day.
I got it installed. It's just I got too much shit to play.
Well, yeah. So can I ask a question?
Yeah, what's up?
Yes.
This is going to be controversial. And it's related to
I don't. We didn't invite you because you weren't controversial.
and let me just say this right now. I'm surprised that no one asked this question when they were asking about Starfield, because I thought this question was going to come up. The question being, well, with Cyberpunk coming out later this month, all these other games, will you still be playing Starfield when those games drop?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So that's a question I want to ask y'all, because I know a couple of people in here have said Cyberpunk, and I'm gonna tell you right now, when Mortal Kombat drops and Cyberpunk drops, I think you know what I'll be playing when those games drop. But I just wanted to ask that question.
Yeah, to answer your question, I'm specifically not playing any games until that Cyberpunk expansion comes out. No games, so I'm not playing shit. No Baldur's Gate, no Starfield, nothing. I want to go in, I want to be hungry, when I go play that shit. And plus, I just don't want to dive into a big game now, because I can't play games as much as I used to. Like, I could only play like 2 hours a night or whatever. Like, I'm not going to be done with Starfield by that point, you know. So I'm like, let me wait, you know, be hungry and shit, and I'll get to Starfield because the game ain't going nowhere. It's fucking whatever. I'll play when I play. But yeah, Phantom Liberty, motherfucking Yakuza, you know, that's coming, and Mortal Kombat and Spider-Man. That's going to be my games of this year. I'll get to Baldur's Gate and Starfield next year because I do want to play them, especially Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate looks fucking dope. Yeah. I went to this preview event back in 2020, right? Literally like 2 months before the fucking lockdown, right? And it wasn't hands-on or nothing, but it was like a 4-hour presentation. I'm like, this is some crazy shit. And I also played like when it was in early access, I played like the first 5 hours or whatever for PC Mag.
For Phantom Liberty? For what
No. This is for Baldur's Gate. I'm talking about Baldur's Gate. So I definitely want to get it. It looks fucking dope, but I'll get to it when I get to it, you know? Because I know Phantom Liberty will be small in comparison. You know, I can't be playing these massive games unless I know I have a clear slate. So that, for me, it's going to be Phantom Liberty, Yakuza, or Like a Dragon now, and fucking Spider-Man and Mortal Kombat. You got to sprinkle that in there too, you know. And I will be reviewing most, if not all, of those games, people. So stay tuned, you know. So that
get back in the game, Tony. You get back in the game.
I jump in, man. I jump in. I played that Final Fantasy 16. You know. I'll get that back. I'll say this, man. I'll say this. This year has been good for game. Even though this is my least gamiest year, I think I've played maybe just 4 games total this year. I have to objectively admit this has been a good year for games. You know, it's going to get even better. You know, it's good stuff. Anyway, does anybody else want to answer Rich's question? Or like, what was it? It was Are you going to put Starfield aside for Phantom Liberty, or do you not care?
Rich,
we got FIFA coming. We got Call of Duty coming.
Oh, you got Modern Warfare 3. This is
Modern Warfare 3. We got Turtles game coming. You know, playing that. We got that. We got a lot of shit. I mean, I ain't got time for this fucking game. I mean, I'll
spit up my fucking water, man.
I'll jump around. I'll go on one planet. I'll tickle somebody in another planet. I'm like, yo, that's it. People, I don't understand.
Oh, man.
Who got the time? They're like, oh, it's only 50 hours. God damn, I'd be lucky if I could put 10 hours. This is a lot. A lot of these games, when they're the big games like this.
I forgot about Armored Core. I want to play that eventually, too.
Yeah, Armored Core. I want to play that.
Mine's still sealed. I'm getting ready to play it this week.
Oh, shit.
See, there you go.
I'm playing that right now.
You playing games?
Shit, I'm still playing Hunt Down. People need to play Hunt Down.
Awesome. I was like, I'm still playing table tennis.
Wait a minute.
I always play.
Okay, Rich, I got a question for you. Very interesting question here. From GZDR, another one of the old schoolers. Has Richard's game of the year changed after playing Starfield? Is it Baldur's Gate 3, Hogwarts Legacy, or Diablo 4? What is your game of the year? We don't even know the answer to that.
Or Forspoken. Don't forget Forspoken.
Or what's the game that what's the game not your game of the year, but what's the potential game of the year?
Yeah, well, actually, no. What is your game of the year so far? If you have, I don't even know the answer to this.
That is a very interesting question. I have to admit, right now it's Sea of Stars.
Ooh, interesting. That's an upset.
Now, Alan Wake 2. I've been looking forward to that game.
That shit.
Yeah, so that could change. I haven't played Final Fantasy 16 yet. There's a lot of games I need to actually play, but it's going to be hard to when I go over that list because there's a lot of things that I did play that I thought was really good. But right at the moment, Sea of Stars stays in my head for some reason.
Wow!
So I
want to see if that game.
I want to see. I want to see. I stop looking at it. Yeah, it's not something I would play. So he likes it. He likes it. He was all thrilled about it. Like, oh, Sea of Stars changed my life. I'm like, oh shit.
All right. Anyway, anything else? Okay, so yeah, Eurogamer, that was some bullshit. The fans are being fucking retarded on Twitter as expected.
Eurocard didn't get a review copy either. You don't see him complaining.
Here's something interesting though. Apparently, Starfield caused Xbox Series X sales on Amazon to jump by over 1,000%. That's fucking crazy.
I believe it.
Yeah, that's there you go. People want to play on consoles.
Say about some system seller.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Exclusives, generally, big mainline exclusives, push systems. Yeah, all that good stuff.
Yeah. There you go, people. All right. Anything else we want to talk about with Starfield before we move on to other topics? Because other things did happen in gaming this week.
Can I ask Brian a favor?
Uh-oh.
Brian, could you find an article or somewhere that says that it's going to be on NextCloud, Starfield? Because I can't find anything. Maybe I'm just bad at Googling, but I can't find it.
Uh-oh. Call, yo, man, what's up with that?
Yo, man, I'm gonna email Phil.
Call up Larry.
Oh, wait, no, he ain't doing nothing.
No he don't know. He's not doing nothing.
Shout out to Larry here, man.
Oh,
that's a good dude.
Go ahead.
Not a Starfield question, but kind of on the back of what we were saying. I just wanted to genuinely ask, Tony and maybe a couple, so how many of y'all are getting excited for the launch of Cyberpunk before you played it for a second time?
Oh, I played it a second time. I played it a second time.
Wait! You mean the real launch of Cyberpunk, right?
Oh, I'm just saying.
Not that demo. The demo that we've been playing for 3 years. That thing.
I'm just saying. Last time
The
Cyberpunk was
beta,
we've got content that we released, and they fucking fooled me, and I'm not just wandering blindly into that shit again.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But here's the thing, though. Brett, I did play it again last year. I talked about it on the podcast, and I was like, "Holy shit! This is the game that should have launched 3 years ago."
Yeah, but then they're overhauling, and you're expecting the overhaul to go smoothly.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I never said that. I never said that. You're putting words in my mouth, sir.
Okay, well, are you expecting the overhaul to go smoothly?
I don't know. Well, I'll have to see. I don't know any answer to that. We'll have to see.
I mean, they've had a decent track record with all of this, with all the after the fact stuff. As soon as they fired whoever the hell that other guy, the other director of it was. And to be honest,
I will say this, Brett. I'm going to stick with what I said before. I expect every game to launch broken until proven otherwise. So that's my answer to that.
Fair.
It's all broken.
Yeah, don't trust them, bro.
Don't trust anyone.
But again, remember, I still enjoy Cyberpunk even when it was janky as fuck. So I hope it's good, but we'll see about that. But it's a good question because I should be. In general, you got to question shit, So it's good you asked that.
Speaking of Cyberpunk, I actually actually a while ago, I just for the hell of it, because I think Paris put a little AMA thing on his Twitter, and I asked them seriously. I'm like, hey, would you give Cyberpunk another chance? With all the demos and everything all comes out, and he's not the demos, but when the new DLC comes out, and he goes, yeah, I want to do a nice fresh from scratch thing and do a series of videos and stuff about it. And I'm like, that sounds really cool. So there you go.
I'm going to play it again. I've heard that they're changing a lot of systems.
Yeah, it's getting a big overhaul. Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing
not need patch again.
Here's
I think you're justified to feel that way.
Here's the other thing about that. Here's the other thing about that.
Collection.
Here's the other thing about that patch. You don't need to own the actual game to do it. The upgrade to do it. The patch literally changes all the systems of the game. Before even the DLC, so you'll get the DLC.
Oh, you get it without even buying the DLC. You get the overhaul.
Mm-hmm. You get the overhaul.
You get the overhaul
free. Yeah, the overhaul's free. Yeah.
Okay, that's dope.
Yep. Yeah, DLC is paid, but the overhaul's free for everybody, which is cool.
So yeah, they revamped all the comps. They revamped a bunch of the AI. A lot of the menus and stuff were redesigned. So they got a pretty big suite of stuff.
Yeah, vehicle combat is in there.
Is that coming out before?
Wait, what happened, Brett?
I'm going to do a whole new playthrough. I'm just not doing it right away, especially with the backlog that I have. That's generally one of those, the way I'm kind of stacking my backlog is, probably going to let that one age a little bit.
Yeah, I think
just
that's
to make sure everything. I say that hesitantly because I'm like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to be like, oh no, I'm going to make sure that one gets a second to get all the issues patched out. Meanwhile, I'm just going to dive into Starfield yeah, that's not necessarily smart. If I'd be able to maintain my excitement, I just finished fucking Baldur's Gate. But let's all fucking be honest. I love Bethesda games, so we all know I'm going to wade into that buggy nightmare.
Yeah, that's going to eat your face for the rest of the year. Let's just be real here,
bro. Like I don't even know. I've gone from like eating too good to like this is like I was sneaking out to smoke cigarettes, and now I'm like, you're gonna smoke the whole goddamn thing. You like video games? Have all these video games. Like I don't know what I'm gonna be able to do, man. There's too much coming out. I do not have the kind of time to be able to put these kinds of video games down. I'm already running behind. On Armored Core. We got Spider-Man, and we got fucking Cyberpunk, and just. And this is before any of these things might start coming out with additional content. Like I already know Remnant 2 is coming out with additional content like by the end of the year. So Jesus, man, it's too much.
Oh man. All right. Moving on here, the other big controversial thing of the week. And we're switching gears from Xbox to PlayStation now, people.
What they do, man?
PlayStation Plus getting a price hike across the board.
Whoa! Come on.
Yeah, so I canceled that. I canceled it.
What are we paying for, man? It's like the MTA, man. They just keep raising the price, and the service don't get no better.
Yep. So let me break down the new prices. Right here we go. So for PlayStation Plus Essential, which is the base entry level one, it used to be $60. Now it's $80, right? PlayStation Plus Extra used to be $100. Now it's $135. And the premium version used to be $120. Now it's $160.
Jeez.
So there you go. Everybody's getting fucked right now.
That's substantial.
Yeah.
Yeah, $20 increase.
But by the way, Tony,
what's up?
By the way, Tony, do you know what the best news about this as to when this is going to happen?
When is
next month?
Next month.
It's happening on September 6th.
Isn't that
the
interesting?
Same release day of Starfield, yes.
And also the same release than Baldur's Gate on PS5, yeah.
Nuts, man. I saw that shit and then I just canceled that.
And I said, fuck that shit.
Are you kidding me? Come on now. $20 increase? That's nuts.
People you guys doing it on Baldur's Gate Day?
Yep.
That is a big multiplayer game, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's some slimy shit.
So we gotta collect some of this.
Yeah, so check this out. So the price hikes are throughout all the tiers, right? $20, $35, and $40.
Damn. Like that's like a 30%.
Yeah, and
you
would think they're hurting for money, but we know they're not.
Yeah, like I think. Okay, thank you. And that's. I'm just gonna say, I get real pissed when people say, "Check out our record profits." Also, we're upping our prices.
I like what Blitz said. Adam, you'll like this. The best thing about the price hike is I'll save money by not subscribing.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking nuts, man. That's too much.
I'm low key considering because the thing is okay, the only thing I even pay for is like the online shit, and it's like there's not really any online games that we're playing right now. Last big one I played was Elden Ring. So
Shoot,
I don't know.
My brother didn't know he was already a member. He was like, "Well, I only play FIFA online."
That's how they get you.
Yeah, you're still paying for it. He's like, "What? Multiplayer isn't free?" I'm like, "No, it's not.
This ain't PC."
Yeah, what do you do? Forget? Like,
I guess. Yeah. No, it's Joshua. Yeah, he didn't know. I was like, "You've been paying this whole time."
And remember, you're also playing for cloud saves.
Oh yeah.
Those lousy cloud saves that always seem to malfunction. Nobody ever talks about that. How shitty that system is.
Yeah, but it is. No, I will second that.
Yeah.
By the way,
I agreed with you before you even said it.
What I'm gonna do right now is cancel my subscription before I forget.
Oh shit!
Because my subscription runs till the end of the year.
Yeah, same
and
with me.
That shit'll renew for a year without you knowing. and that shit, I don't want to get charged that. Yeah, so
$80.
Yo, man, this is what we, back in the day we call cutting the cord.
Right. Yeah, I actually think I'm going to do the same.
Yeah, so just back up your saves, man. Because to me, that's the only reason I really paid for this. I just wanted the cloud saves.
For the cloud saves.
Yeah,
they have like finessed us really well with this. So you know how you said that you can like back up your saves?
Yeah.
Apparently with the PS5 you can't back up your saves on a USB.
Oh.
What? Do it again.
Yeah.
Do it again.
1 second.
Yeah, do it.
Oh, it can't.
So you're
You have to back up the whole console.
It gets even better. Like, so they did that, and then remember when they like removed the PS3 games and whatnot. So they removed games from the service. They forced you to have the service to go online because again, it was free before. Because I remember those days. And then they added all this nonsense, and then they removed the ability to stack these when you could, like towards the start of the year.
I remember
so
that, yeah.
now you can't even stack them, and now they're making you pay more for it. Like, I have to admit, they did a very good job. Like, I'm surprised that no one actually noticed what they were doing, because even I should have noticed this, but no one did, so fine, whatever. But yeah, they did a really good job in just like funneling us down this one path to the point where the only thing that they can do is just increase the price, and then there's nothing that anyone can do about it.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing. Even the most hardcore ponies are upset about this. You figure they'd be on board, you know?
That's too much. So
No.
20. That's
I feel like when the things I feel like when the things get, really get absurd, that's when the hardcores go, yo, yeah, this is fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, I only had one guy defending Sony on this, I expected more,
Was it the dude that was shitting on Paris?
No, it's still some other fucking random. You ever notice how these guys only have like 7 followers and shit?
It's because they know they can get you with one comment, man.
Yeah, no, it's
man.
because it's a fucking burner account. It's somebody that knows us that we know, That's what's really going on there. This is some bullshit, man. Some bullshit. Yeah, I don't have anything more to say other than this fucking bullshit.
Well, I do have something to say.
That you're actually very happy about this, Rich, and you're willing to spend
because
Sony gives you quality.
It is 100% bullshit. So we're all on the same page, but this is going to sound a little cruel, but I will say this because this is a segue to maybe your next story.
Yeah,
I noticed that Saints Row is the game that you can get on PS Plus this upcoming month.
The irony. The irony.
Wow.
Massive segues.
That is a segue.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I do have to give credit where credit is due. Sony normally toe dips, but they are really committing to raising prices. So that is something that they are consistent on.
Yeah, they're not toe dipping; they're diving in deep.
They're not toe dipping on raising prices. They are committed.
Yeah, they got that fucking scuba gear and shit. It's like we're going all the way in.
old Jimbo, you love him. You love him so much.
Yeah,
$20 increase. That
what the hell?
Yeah, $20 for the entry one, and then $40 increase for the top tier one.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad I'm on
the so the entry one, like, what is $20 more for what?
That is so
crazy. Access to the internet?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, and cloud saves.
And cloud saves.
And
go ahead, Otaku Man.
The games. I mean, that's about it.
Yeah, Dre,
that's all you get.
Yeah, Dre, what's your take on this, bro?
I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even get mad about it. I was like, I figured it was going to happen because it's what they do. Everybody does this. You're already paying for. If you actually sit and think about everything that you're paying subscription wise, that's a lot of fucking money. I mean the $20 I pay. I'm on the essentials. I'm not paying off for all that shit. I'm just not.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not paying for all that extra shit. I don't have time to play. I don't have time to play that shit I pay for. So I mean, I'm not tripping on it too bad, but it's still making me think whether should I cancel it? Should I keep it or what? I don't know. But I mean, I don't even get to play the games I go out and pay money for. So I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not tripping on it. But people are like literally like I'm about to sell my PlayStation. I'm like, no, dude.
Fuck
yeah,
that's
crazy. But I just
you're not doing that. Shut up. You're not doing that. Shut up. You stupid
dumbasses. Here's an interesting question from GZDR. Isn't it still lower than Game Pass?
Well, not the essential. I mean, the essential is definitely lower, but you don't get
less. Yeah.
So can I make a comment on that?
Yes.
I'm not trying to challenge that comment, but I have to say something.
It is because you're not getting all the other. You're not getting. All
it is low. It is lower. That's what.
It is. Yeah. It is lower, but in my opinion, this month especially, anyone that has Game Pass is getting way more value because you have the first party games, plus they're getting that Lies of P game, which is coming out later this month. You're getting a lot of games, so I think that's way more value. You said Sea of Stars, yep, Sea of Stars. For those that are into Payday 3, that's also coming to Game Pass this month. So I kind of feel like, yes, you can make the argument that PlayStation, if you're a PlayStation fan, I understand you love PlayStation Plus, but you cannot deny if you have Game Pass this month, you're getting a shit ton of games. So that's just my opinion.
And none of those.
That's true.
Yeah. By the way, so just to recap some of the essential features: online multiplayer, which is what we all mentioned, exclusive discounts. Who cares? Monthly games.
Bullshit
so that's the games you get every month.
Anyway, go ahead.
Cloud storage, which might be the one that freaking and Brian mentioned. They got me because I use 2 PlayStations on different rooms, and that cloud storage shit comes in clutch. Game help, I don't know what the hell that is. And
fuck is that? You know, it's like a hotline or something.
Yeah.
And here's the last one that I didn't know was part of the essential package. SharePlay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Oh damn.
Oh, that's interesting.
It doesn't sweeten the pot. It doesn't sweeten the pot. I just didn't know it was there.
You got to pay for that.
Just in time for their non-handheld to come out, right?
I was just about to say.
Is SharePlay and Remote Play the same thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
No. I thought SharePlay is the one where you
they're different.
SharePlay is different.
Wi-Fi. You're doing that over Wi-Fi. You're not doing it over the internet. It's
No, Adam. SharePlay is where remember Call of Duty.
I give you access, and then you could play, or you could, we could share controllers to do that couch co-op remote type shit.
Yeah, that's SharePlay. Yeah,
that's SharePlay.
That's SharePlay. Yeah. Remote Play
you both need the Plus service for that. That's always been the case too.
Yeah,
man,
getting fucked. You know. Fergus says every subscription I can think of in the entertainment industry raised pricing this year. We're all getting screwed. Yep.
Oh yeah, but not by 20.
Oh yeah,
I don't like that. Look, what did Spotify did $1? You know, another one did another $1. That makes sense, whatever. But think of one of the things of Disney say, hey, $20 extra.
They went up too, didn't
trash, they? You know.
Yeah, they went
Disney
up.
Plus went up too.
It went they all went up. They all went up.
They all went up.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
They expect you to pay for the same old garbage they're putting out there, man.
Trash ass shows, you know.
Okay,
no, they raised the prices. They raised the prices, but they keep canceling shows. So
yeah, because they need to make up for the fact they make some garbage ass shows, and they're like, oh wait, why nobody watching this shit?
Yeah, well, or they'll pull stuff off that they'll pull stuff off.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, I was watching this. It was actually good.
Adam, by the way, Disney Plus went up $36.
$36.
What?
That's what we got
for a year or for not?
Yeah, for a year.
I was about to say not for a month. You know.
Well, it's because Adam was saying that $20. Sony went up $20.
Yeah, but Sony went up $20 a month. You know. Oh no, a year. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So what did it go up a month? I'm curious now.
It's like it went up from like $5 to like $7 for like the base tier or something like that.
Yeah. 666.
666, the number of the beast.
Whoa.
666. That's how we know Satan is happening.
Yeah, right? Jim Ryan.
What is Jimbo trying to tell us?
You know, I knew that motherfucker was a demon. Anyway, go ahead, bro.
So for me, I'm not sure. Maybe it's for anybody else, but like for me, like whether or not you agree with it or like it, like if you look at like Microsoft, you're like, all right, so my price went up. Like, okay, so what am I getting, and what are y'all spending this money on that you need to price increase? And then you look at it, and you're like, oh, they're dropping billions of dollars in acquisitions. I mean, that kind of fucking makes sense. That shit's gonna end up on the streaming service. I guess that makes sense. For some reason, that makes it a little bit easier pill to swallow. But like, straight up looking at the base tier of PlayStation, you're like, oh, it's going up from 60 to 80, and you're like, oh, okay, like, what have you guys spent the money on, or what am I getting? And they're like, nothing.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, oh,
nothing.
For the
so
same
like you haven't been spending the money improving your service, and I get absolutely nothing new. It's just now I'm going to pay more money.
Jim Ryan comes over and is like, no, you're going to pay the same exact money you paid before for the same service.
Oh, by the way,
more expensive.
By the way, I do want to mention
you're getting 10 games as a service. That's what Blizzard said.
You're like,
you're gonna take those games and you're gonna fucking like them.
Get the Vita Lite.
By the way, I do want to mention. This is if you do yearly subscription.
Yeah.
I think if you do monthly, that shit gets upticked a lot.
Damn.
Which we know that's where a lot of the subscriptions kind of sit in a reoccurring monthly thing.
Yeah. Ain't getting fucked right now.
It's like,
bro.
Brett, don't you want to play our exclusive service?
When I canceled, it just asked me if I was sure if I wanted to do it. That's all it said. It didn't say, "Hey, look at all these cool features." It was like, "You sure you want to do this?" I'm like, yeah, what? Are you giving me anything else? Are you going to try to entice me with some new goodies?
It's not like it's not like cable service when you call up and say, "Man, I am done with this shit. Fuck you."
They give you a free month or something, or they'll throw in
the retention offer
doesn't do that.
you know,
no, they're like, all right, get out, bounce. We don't need you.
They're like, you'll be back. That's what it'll be.
Yeah, right.
So they announced the price. So Sony announces the price hike the same fucking week that they announced the freaking Portal.
Yeah. Oh, that's November 15th is coming.
The PSP.
No, the worst. Did you guys talk about that? The fact that the Portal's 200, but the earbuds are also 200.
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked. Yeah, that's right. You weren't here. So we thought you were going to go off on that shit. That was stupid.
I'm going off right now. That's ridiculous. God damn, $200 for earbuds. Are you kidding me? For a shit that could only stream from a console on Wi-Fi?
Adam, do you remember when the rumors first started coming out? You said this can't just be just a pure streaming thing. Exactly. And we're like, Adam, it is going to be that. You're like, no, they can't do that. They did
Gotta have something.
They did it. Your worst nightmare came true, man.
You know,
they did have something. A bad idea.
Such a half-ass idea. It's like, come on. They just can't see themselves really creating a Vita 2. They see the market. They see the interest. They see how these games are selling on Steam. Their first-party games. They're selling like hotcakes, majority of them. It's like, shit, that's not enough for you to say, you know what, let's do this. No, you come on.
Toe dip.
Nope.
Yeah.
Just not.
Go ahead, Otaku man. What would you think about the place in Portal?
I just don't think they think it's cost effective to come up with another console.
I agree. I agree with that.
Oh, no, of course it's not. No, I mean, yeah. They ain't gonna do that.
It's cheaper to do.
Because you know. Think about it. Did you guys bring this? I wonder how many. You know it's gonna happen because we saw this with the Wii U. When the Wii U did the same shit, putting fucking screen on a controller, and was like, oh yeah, everybody bought it, and then they started returning it. It's like, why are you returning it? Well, you can't play it like loaded. You can't put the games on the screen. No, it doesn't do that. It's just a second screen. What the fuck? Nobody wants this. So many kids are gonna get this shit for Christmas. Because parents are gonna be like, oh, it's a bargain. I'm getting them this handheld with the PlayStation. Shit, they probably don't even have a PlayStation 5. They're not gonna be told at the store. You know, they don't give a shit. They want to make that sale. They're gonna buy this, bring it home. Here, little Jimmy, you got this. What's this shit? Well, I can stream my game only the PS5. I don't have that. Did you put that under a tree too, Daddy? Did Santa buy me that shit too, Daddy? Like, no, Daddy did do. Daddy got you this $200 portable play. Daddy, you so dumb. This is not a portable PlayStation. What is this? Bullshit. It's a second screen. That's all it is with a controller.
Oh. Well, now Daddy gets to go out and buy a PlayStation, so I think they're okay with that. let me ask this. Like,
this is exactly what I planned.
Yeah, like
brand confusion to get people to buy things.
It caused so much problems for Nintendo with the Wii U, and that's why shit bombed.
Potentially dumb question. Does remote play work now?
It all depends on your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It all depends on your house. Where's your router? Because that's the signal. It's coming from your router. So it depends. If you have a shit signal when you're in the living room, you're gonna still have a shit signal using this thing.
Yeah, it depends
So,
on. Yeah, go ahead.
This is gonna go great.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna do anything. But I think if it doesn't do well, it won't be a big hit for Sony. This is why it's a toe dip. Because they're literally just breaking a DualSense and have it put in a screen in the middle of it. It can't cost them that much.
The things on the controller, the little pads, they're not even as good as a DualSense as normal ones.
Oh wow,
they're shittier. Yeah, they're even worse.
There you go, people. The toe dip.
I'm getting a real Vita at home vibe from this.
No, it's not even a Vita at home because at least
No. By that I mean you're sitting in the back seat, you look up front, and you're like, Sony, I want a Vita, and they're like, you don't need a Vita, we have Vita at home.
Yeah. All right.
It's oldie Vita.
Yeah, and the final thing I want to bring up, we already alluded to it. I'm just going to read this directly from Destructoid. Volition Games is shutting down. The studio behind games like Saints Row, Summoner, Red Faction, and more is being shuttered by parent company Embracer Group. And here's what Volition wrote. And they got to do the Twitter shit. It's like, here's just text. The Volition team has proudly created world-class entertainment for our fans around the globe for 30 years. We've been driven by a passion for our community and always work to deliver joy, surprise, and delight. This past June, Embracer Group announced a restructuring program to strengthen Embracer and maintain its position as a leader in the video game industry. As part of that program, they evaluated strategic and operational goals and made the difficult decision to close Volition effective immediately. To help our team, we are working to provide whatever bullshit. So yeah, Volition's done. Volition's done.
Right.
That's
happens
when you release a trash ass fucking game. That piece of shit Saints Row.
Yeah, garbage.
Well, Embracer likes to break up stuff anyway. So I'm not shocked by it.
Would you say they don't embrace the companies they buy?
No, they don't. No,
they embrace the money that they keep in the bank.
That's a good one.
It's
terrible.
So who's going to be the next casualty on their list? Because I'm pretty sure they're going to end up having to shut down another.
With all the companies that they own, they were buying shit like there was no tomorrow, man. The bottom is going to fall out, and it's going to fall out hard on that place.
But they were getting those things real cheap, though. A lot of those IPs, they got dirt cheap.
Well, no, because they got it during
they got them on a clearance sale.
It was
a fire sale. Went to a fire sale.
They live. Remember that THQ? I couldn't believe it. They did that whole stream, and then next it's like, oh, the T2K just got the WWE, and it's like, oh, EA just got the UFC rights, and it was like, holy shit. And then the Embracer Group picked up a bunch of Deep Silver came in.
They picked up a bunch of the THQ stuff.
Yeah. So Logic Wins goes. So what'll happen to the Saints Row IP? That's what I like to know.
Well, they own the IP. They can just give it to anybody.
They can.
Another one. It's just
anybody.
Somebody else will probably do it.
Yeah. To be honest, it'll be somebody else's deal. I can't say whose fault it was for the failure, but they had two bombs after each other. So.
Yeah.
That doesn't leave
that Saints Row was really fucking bad.
Well, it was terrible.
Yeah, but the game before that was also pretty fucking bad.
Well, Agents of Mayhem was just I don't know. It wasn't much of a game.
I almost forgot about that.
I knew that like that.
I played it. I actually
I liked it for a little bit, but then it was like a state of emergency type of deal. Adam, remember that shit? It's cool, and then you get further into it.
Running around the mall. And then 2 hours later, I'm like, yo, I'm doing the same shit.
Same thing with you're like, this is awesome. Then it's like, well, I don't know about this.
Well, I don't know. They fucked up the driving in there, too. How do you fuck up a driving in a driving game?
Yeah. There's other things I could say about it, but I want to get canceled, so I'll leave it
The game just got canceled.
Hey,
So,
yeah, hey.
they'll find work though. We've seen this with EA did it with the Dead Space crew, remember? And then they repurposed a lot of the team. They moved them to other games. Not EA, Activision.
Yeah.
The thing about it is like this could have been averted if they didn't change the formula of Saints Row, man.
Yeah,
like
very simple thing, but this is modern times, and we have to make games for modern audiences. You know,
That's why modern audiences are spitting on the grave and dancing right now.
Yeah,
nobody's upset about this happening, and that I think should really be super telling. Because, if your fan base is happy you're closing, maybe you weren't making them super happy.
That's so telling right there. God damn,
that's some true shit. You know,
wow.
There's a phrase, but I'm not going to say it. Chris, I think you know what it is, and Brian too, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You get something, you get something, you know? Or you get something, you go something, but we'll leave that alone. All right, man. I think we're done here. Extra giant-sized episode for you guys. This was good. A lot of heat happened on episode 450, which is always a good thing. We are called Throwdown. You know, we're not here to, play nice like some other podcasts and shit, which shall not be named, even though we named them earlier on this episode. But yeah, I want to give a shout out to the fans as always. You guys keep us going. We do this for you. And shout out to the panel for holding it down. 9 years doing this shit. It's crazy. And obviously, I want to thank Rich and Otaku Man for being on, celebrating with us tonight, talking all that good shit. It's good stuff, man. Rich, obviously, thank you, man. Where can people find you?
Thanks for having me on. Once again, congratulations. Looking forward to more shows. People can find me on Twitter, Rich Bailey Jr. I am going to take this
Twitter,
quick...
man. It's X.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. It is X.
RBJ, son.
And if I do consider changing that name, I will be sure to credit. Was it J Chef?
Yeah, J Chef with the P at the end.
J Chef. Okay, I'll be sure to credit him. But yeah, I just want to take a quick moment to plug. We do have a lot of things coming to the website.
Let's fucking go.
And of course, if you are a Power fan, which you may not be, because that's not gaming related, but we just dropped our review of the first episode of the new season of Power Force on our YouTube right now. So check that out. And I'm going to also mention this as well, because I know Adam's going to mention it. I Am Negan is coming back next week. Next weekend, rather. So stay tuned.
Yeah. One thing, Rich, I want to thank you for being a sport for taking the heat tonight. Bob Hitz was on that ass tonight, boy.
Oh no! Listen, I appreciate
like the answer,
the
man.
Feedback.
Yeah,
I appreciate the feedback. So it's all good. Like I said, this game, you're either going to like it or you're going to dislike it. But I'm pretty sure if you've seen everything that the game has to offer online, because there are videos all over the YouTube, I think okay, I want to try this out or not. If you still can't figure it out by then, I don't know what to tell you.
Yo, Fergus says you could also find Rich on Xbox playing Redfall at 1 a.m. every night.
No chance in hell. No chance in hell. You will not see me ever play that game again. But hey,
the last time I played was the last time we played together, and that was the day that we got. That was it. That was enough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Real quick. Blitz says, "Are you guys going to cover the Mario Wonder Direct, or did no one watch it? I didn't even know that was a thing."
No thanks.
Yeah,
it came out it was this morning. I didn't want.
Yeah, who fucking watching that bullshit?
It's me.
Fernando.
Go ahead, Rich.
Oh no, I just said very interesting timing by Nintendo to have that today when they knew that Starfield reviews were dropping today.
Now Nintendo they don't pay attention. They live in their own.
They don't. They don't.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
I guess that explains why I saw some fucking Mario as an elephant shit on my timeline. But who gives a fuck?
He's an elephant.
Fuck.
They added Daisy as a playable character. That's the only new one.
Yeah, fuck Nintendo, man. Andre, man, I want to thank you for being on. Is there anything you want to tell the fans? And yeah, 'cause you always have words of wisdom, you know. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Stop listening to everybody and just play the stuff you like. Play what you enjoy. Just stop. Just stop. It's not even. If you want to jump on a bandwagon, that's cool. But play what you like. If you like it, don't care. I don't care what you like. If you like it, play it and watch it. Whatever you're gonna do, just watch it. Play whatever you like, man. It's all good. We got into this. We got into this stuff for fun, or like that dude. Like I wanted to say about the dude with getting in Paris. I'm like, look, man. This is the thing. If you're a content, this is content creator. That's okay. I still don't buy into that. But anyway, I got into this stuff because I liked games. I liked writing about games. I've been writing about games for years. I wanted to help other people get into the business. It wasn't about money. Every trip to E3, every trip to CES, I got flown out a couple of times back in the day for different things, to cover different games back in the day. Other than that, I pay for everything on my own. It's a labor of love. If you're in this stuff, you're playing, you're content creating, you're starting a website. If you're doing it for free shit, just get the fuck out now. Just get out now. If you're gonna be mad because somebody got something that you didn't do, put the work in. Put the work in. Paris puts the work in.
Yep.
Danny, they all put the work in. Put the work in. Maybe you'll get it, maybe you don't, but you put the work in. Let the work speak for itself. I mean,
Yep.
Just
preach.
That's what a lot of these motherfuckers don't understand. You think these guys just like showed up one day and had all this shit? No, they worked for fucking years.
Yeah,
man.
That's the thing. That's the thing that nobody ever sees, right? They only see the final part. They don't see all the shit that every one of these people that have gone out there have done. Like Paris didn't just come out of nowhere, man. Like I said, we said even when Khalil was there. I mean, not Khalil. Spawn on me.
Khalif.
Khalif.
Yeah.
Even with Khalif, like, man, we talked about it then.
Yep. They're getting all these opportunities and all that stuff, maybe because they put the work in. If you're serious about covering games and being a games journalist or a geek, anything, if you review movies or whatever you do, if you're serious about it, be serious about it. Put the work in, and then maybe something will happen. You might get something, you might not. But a lot of times we get codes all the time, man. It's like, but we put the work in. We have 2 reviews for Starfield up on our site.
Yeah.
And we put the work in. So my team kicks ass. So but you got to do the work. So you can't just sit around and say, "Oh, I got a YouTube channel, or I'm on Twitch, and why didn't I get the console?" Man, I ain't get a console I was in this industry probably 15 years before I got a console. Before they sent me anything. And it would just be nice. But just put the work in, man. That's all you got to do. You can find me the otakuauthority.com. That's the new site. Real Otaku Gamer it still exists. It's just kind of in limbo right now. So we had to rebrand. Our podcast is the ROG Cast. We cover everything. But man, I just want to say I'm proud of you guys. You guys, it's just respect. I love you guys. If you guys need anything from me at any time, just hit me up. You know where to find me. I'm so proud of the 9 years. Or 12, 13 years.
Yeah,
right?
it's really, because this is just 9 years of this version, right? But we've been doing this since 2012, bro.
But man, I mean, the fact that I was just talking to somebody about that today. I said, man, the fact that it's funny that Paris, a black man in this industry, is getting hate from some other people who are not black. I said, the fact that he got it, I'm glad he got it. I wish he'd have got 5 of them. Because the work we had to do to get this far, you just don't know. You don't see it. You don't see the behind the scenes racism. You don't see the whole, where they treat you like you didn't even, why are you even here?
Especially back in the day,
Back in the day, man, we just, guys like me and Torrance, man, but we got our respect. I remember back in the day, I go to E3 or CES and people know who I am. I'm like, how do you know who I am? you speaking to me. I'm like, damn. But you just got to put the work in, man. That's it.
Yeah.
But enjoy it, man. I'm proud of you guys, man. You guys making it easy for me to step away. I'm telling you, it's making it easy. I can sit back and watch you guys, and man, I appreciate you so much.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the support over a decade now.
Oh yeah.
It's been.
Shout out to Rich.
Yes.
I want to shout out the coalition. The coalition.
Yes.
Swift.
That's the coalition with a K.
Cap.
Killer Cap.
Rich. Everybody at the coalition, man. When I came back to this business after being gone for 5 years, they reached out to me. Dude, we were talking on Xbox Live and was just talking about games.
Yeah.
And just talking about games. Me and Swift were just talking about games. I was like, and they welcomed me with open arms, man, and and it was just dope, man. I appreciate you guys so much. I don't shout you guys out enough, and I'm gonna change that. But me and Rich go back, man. That's my dude right there, man. I appreciate you, Rich, man.
Oh, I appreciate you too, sir. 100%. I still remember. I don't know if it was you involved, but the first call I was on, I believe it was Hyper, got into a very long conversation with somebody.
Hyper, that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I remember
that was like
that.
an hour long. We did a podcast, and then it was like a 2-hour long conversation with somebody. I forget who it was.
I remember that.
That was hilarious, though.
I still got to find that lost episode where he went. We all fell asleep.
Yeah.
Hyper was still going to Real Gamer Show. Hyper was still going. All three of us had fallen asleep, and I happened to wake up like, oh man, he's still talking, and I had to call them to get back. Wake up, guys, wake up. Yeah, it was. But that's Hyper's my man. I'll add my man $50,000. He got his quirks, man, but that's my dude.
Yeah, here it is. Logic Wins and Mighty Nerd. They know exactly what you're talking about with Hyper. Hyper Sonic. No, he's still on Twitter talking shit, man. He's still on Twitter talking shit.
Yeah,
I guy's a character, man. See, Hyper Sonic. Yep.
If you really wanted to see a very, I'm going to say, interesting take on the way things are right now, please follow that man. It's enlightening to say the least.
Yeah, no, yeah. When he gets in my replies, the answers he gives, the long answers he gives, especially about the state of like Japanese gaming and shit. Yeah, my man, very, very passionate. It's
me and him would go for hours talk about Sega.
Yeah,
back in the day, we would talk about Sega for hours. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys though.
Yeah. Ooh, I figured out how to play music on this fucking thing. This is
on your Walkman?
No, on this headset. It's called the Corsair at K70 Max. I'm reviewing it, and I was like, because usually like you press a button and your music just starts and shit. So yeah, it's over here. It's weirdly the Bluetooth button, but whatever. It's Hypersonicu. That guy's crazy. I remember the first time I was on Warzone. Nobody had ever heard me talk before. They're like, "Yo, you sound like Hyper if he was confident." I was like, "Okay, that's a strange comment."
Oh shit! Wow.
How accurate is that? Because I'm assuming this guy.
That's damn Tony. That's crazy.
Yeah. Does he have a New York accent too, or is it just
the
deep voice?
No, not really. He doesn't. Not really. No.
Yeah,
not a New York accent.
Yeah, but that's what people told me.
That's kind of a Midwest. It's kind of Midwestern, but he's from Houston. He's from Houston now.
Yeah. They told me I sound like Hyper just with confidence. I thought that was interesting.
That's interesting.
Will he be invited? I don't know if I want to have a 4-hour podcast with this dude. Because that's going to happen. You get Hypersonic on your fucking show.
One thing about him that he knows his shit though.
Yeah, he does. He knows
his shit. He knows his shit. If it's about PlayStation, and Nintendo, that man knows his shit.
Yo, Carlos, you there, man?
Yo.
Okay, so you remember Hyper, right? Hypersonic.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll appreciate this comment specifically. put Hypa and Frankie B in her room.
That shit, they'll go for years.
Yeah, yo, so Rich, Otaku. So Frankie B is one of our like regulars. He joined us like within the last like 5 years or so. My man, like read his shit in the Discord. My man will go in, you know. But shout out to him, because of him, I got my PC right here. He helped me build this shit, you know. But he goes very, very in depth, you know. All right, so
Charles, Mighty Nerd, Charles still writes, man. Charles is still out there.
Charles is still,
that's my man.
Charles Singletary.
He's still out there.
Yeah, he's PR for what company is he? He's a PR guy. Evolve, yes,
PR.
Yes, yeah, he's Evolve PR. Yep. So you know,
he just recently moved.
Yeah, so
he's still out in the wild.
Yeah, so he does
big stuff. He does big stuff. He's very instrumental with a lot of stuff going out there, man. He's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Charles is that man puts in the work for real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Charles.
Is he still shitting on Texas?
I still remember the one of the most epic moments of Throwdown ever, right? We had Charles Singletary and Hip Hop Gamer on. And Charles challenges Hip Hop to like a rap off and shit. And Charles, I love you, but you flubbed it. And like, say what you will about Hip Hop Gamer, my man spits. Like, he is really good, you know?
Hip Hop ain't no joke.
You know, listen to that episode. That was some classic shit, man.
It's all off the cuff too. It wasn't like
it
wasn't like he was just. It wasn't just like he just wrote it, and then then Charles was like, "Nah, man, this is not my time right now. I got to warm up." I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
my boy with the Knights of the Turntable podcast."
Oh yeah, that was a
shout out.
Classic.
So.
Yeah, that was, and wasn't Charles also on when Rachel called Hip Hop Gamer a bitch? Like,
yes,
that was a crazy fucking moment. Like the Throwdown, we went silent. Like,
yeah, if you ever wanted to hear like hear a record scratch without an actual record scratch, that is that moment. Like, Rachel would just.
Yeah, because Hip Hop Gamer was complaining about Bloodborne being too difficult. She's like, "You sound like a bitch." Everybody shut up. Like,
and then she's like, and then Hip Hop came in. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know you, but just sort of."
Throwdown, man, crazy times, you know.
Yeah,
we gotta get Torrance back. The first episode of this year was with Torrance. That was a good episode. I love that because we had our show notes. I'm like, fuck the show notes. We're just talking to Torrance for 2 hours, you know.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, once Torrance sat in the seat, it became the war zone.
Yes. Guys, here's a flash from the past. What about Hated Greatness? That dude, I don't know what's going on with him, but I always see him logging onto Steam, you know. But he's
streaming a lot.
He's a streamer now. Okay.
Mm-hmm. He's streaming a lot.
Hated streams. There you go. Okay, yeah. So that's good. Yeah, Hated another character. Oh yeah. He was part of the Minority Report, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was him, Charlie, Charlie Kun, James Lugo, you know, and fucking and Hated Greatness, you know. That was an interesting podcast. That was very influential of Throwdown. So I borrowed a lot of their shit, like basically because they would just have like 4 or 5 main topics they would talk about, you know. John Shaw, I don't know what's going on with him, you know.
Yo, man. He sort of disappeared in the ether.
Yeah, and
John's still around too.
Yeah, John. Yeah, and
is he? You still have him on your systems and stuff?
I haven't played with him in a while. He's still on my social media though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, John Shaw and I never really saw eye to eye. I'll leave it at that.
That's By the way, I will say,
but yes.
Speaking of throwback, and a lot of people don't know this because this was done, in the post Warzone conversation. The only time I've ever heard Tony scream on the top of his lungs was when he was going at it with John Shaw. That shit was crazy.
No, John Shaw legitimately frustrated the fuck out of Tony.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah, he because John Shaw, he liked to yell a lot, right? So I was like, dude, I'm Dominican. I could yell louder than you, man.
Yeah, you were like, I can yell too, motherfucker.
Yeah,
you want to get loud, motherfucker?
Like I'm Dominican, bro. I got lungs, man. But but no hate, no hate for John Shaw. We didn't see eye to eye, but no hate for the guy.
I do remember what he did when he said we did finally meet up in person. He said, "I thought you was gonna kick my ass."
That's what I thought. I told him that. I'm like, I thought you were gonna beat the shit out of me. John Shaw, very very different character in real life than he is. In Skype. And on Twitter.
John Shaw is cool as shit when you're in person. He's cool as hell in person.
Yeah, very different person. And I told him that too, because I was holding it in the whole E3. I was like, should I tell him? The last day of E3, I'm like, yo, John, man, you don't act anything like you do online. And then he just replies with like, no, you act exactly the same. I was like, yeah. Oh man, good times, man.
Hey, Rich.
Yeah, go ahead.
Rich. Yeah. Man, do you remember that time on the Coalition podcast where we had everybody on it. We had games on Smash and
Bringing it
back.
Man, games on Smash.
You remember that shit?
We had all of them on this. We had them all on this podcast. We had like 3 sites on the podcast. Torrance was there. And man, it turned into, if it was physical, it would have been a bloodbath. They were talking about going to E3. They were talking to go. When I see you at E3, I'm kicking your ass. They just went in, and it was all about console war shit. I was like, me and Torrance are sitting there going, for real, dude? Y'all really on this? Like they really were talking about fighting each other for real. I was like,
you know what's funny?
Really doing this?
You know what I find funny? When Torrance started SCFU and Play 2012, right? Remember, the name of the site is called Shut the Fuck Up and Play because the whole mantra was motherfuckers are talking too much shit with this console war stuff. They need to stop it. 13 years later, nothing's changed. It's gotten worse.
Nope.
Yep. Ain't that 11 years later? Nothing has changed.
So if Torrance ever just decides to come out of retirement, he could call it "Still Shut the Fuck Up and Play."
Right. Keep on shutting the fuck up.
No, really, shut the fuck up and play. Not really.
Yeah, that's what it'll be. It'll be no, really, shut the fuck up and play.
Although I did find it funny, one of the things people say, in jest, they said this in jest, like, for a site called SCFU and Play, you motherfuckers sure do talk a lot. Because we had a bunch of podcasts, Shit was crazy. Good times, man. Very interesting journey, man, for all of us on Throwdown,
Yeah, I'm glad everybody evolved and went on and
Well, you know what, Dre? The ones who didn't evolve ain't here no more because we've known a lot of cats that ain't here no more, because they couldn't hang, And I'm going to keep it real. I'm not going to name any names. I find it very funny that a lot of the cats that said I wouldn't make it aren't even fucking around anymore. They're not around. Meanwhile, I'm here making a living off this shit. Where the fuck you guys at?
Oh,
so there you go. Just got to say that. Some people, some people that I mentioned on the show within the last 5 minutes said all that shit about me. Where you at now, bruh?
And where all those people that said they were developing games 10 years ago?
Fat anorexic. Remember that dude? He had us all fooled, man.
No, he didn't have me fooled.
Well, no, he didn't have you fooled.
Because I was like, I don't know. This sounds like a lot of
Remember, he had a PlayStation exclusive, JRPG or some bullshit.
Yeah, he may have had dreams, but he wasn't actually pulling anything off.
He was the original Hassan.
He was.
Well, here's the thing. So Hassan has something. That guy had nothing.
Yeah, you're right. You can't at least download something. Yeah, he didn't have nothing. Fat anorexic, man. I swear, fucking Warzone was like the Howard Stern show of video games, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. All right, let's wrap it up, man. Do we need to do any other shout outs, plugs? What's going on?
No, but I might be at this place, hanging around at this place over the weekend. So you might be. So if you see me walking around, this face right here, I'll be walking around looking at some games, maybe going to a forbidden place that Tony would never stand, probably a Nintendo event on a specific day. So yeah, gonna see some stuff. So
that life.
It's gonna be interesting. I went to PAX last year. It was an interesting experience. And now they supposedly have a bigger space and all that. So yeah,
good stuff.
Hope to see you there.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we need to plug around here? I'm Negan. What's going on with that, Adam?
Yeah, Rich mentioned I am Negan next weekend, right?
Oh shit!
Next week, yeah. This is it.
September 10th.
Daryl Dixon. This is
don't call it a comeback.
The next spin-off. This spin-off. It's funny. I was listening to this it's a very popular TV podcast show, and they were talking about all the shows that have ended, during this past year, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I remember Walking Dead." And I was like, "I heard they got a bunch of spin-offs. What? They're doing spin-offs?" And I'm like, they're way behind because they already there's 4 of them now. If you count Fear, because you got Fear, Daryl Dixon, World Beyond, and then of course now the Dead City.
Dead City.
Yeah, so you have 4, and I don't count Tales because Tales was just like its own little side thing, wasn't really connected to the universe here with this. But it's 4, and there'll probably be more because it still pulls in money and viewers. People could bitch and say, "Oh, well, they should let it go." Yeah, it's not getting the 12, 13 million views a night that it was getting, but it's still getting multiple million views. People still need their Walking Dead fix. And until that dries up, there'll always be another spinoff. And they're cheap to make. You just put a bunch of people in makeup, throw them in the woods somewhere, and there you go.
Yeah.
You got yourself a show.
Pretty
So,
much,
yeah,
man.
we'll be back for that. That's the next spinoff, and we'll see. It's Norman Reedus. This is all him. He's the main star of this one. So see if he's got that star power to carry it.
Yeah, man. And okay, so this is pretty much a wrap up of Throwdown episode 450, but got another one for you, man. Throw down your questions. Episode 450 is coming this Sunday, and that's going to be an AMA special where you can ask us whatever you want, and we will break the lock. 3 questions. You can ask us 3 questions if you want. We're going in. So it's gonna be a crazy show. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And when Manny gets back from the PAX East, we will also do an episode of Throwdown interviews, man.
Yep, we got some cool folks coming along the way, and I can't wait to talk to these guys. You might be able to guess.
Well, we already teased that we're gonna get Danny and Paris on next. They're gonna be the next ones back to back.
I mean, we've had both of them on.
We've had them both on separately.
Separately.
Yeah, we're probably gonna do separately again, but we should have both on again. Together.
Yeah, I love talking to those guys, and just again, the process of seeing both of those guys grow.
Yeah,
like literally right in front of and then Danny will always you'll always see that picture on his Twitter or his Instagram where he's in his basement, with the cheesy headphones, doing gamer tag radio on the, what was it? Didn't he say he was doing it on Xbox back in the day?
Yeah, he was doing it on Xbox.
On the Xbox chat.
With gamer tag radio specifically. But before that, when he was doing another podcast, he was recording this shit on tape. He
was recording it on tape.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Like that's respect.
And the thing again. It wasn't, to be honest. Again, like we were saying, they weren't going out there doing it because they wanted some free shit.
Yeah,
they were doing it because they had general interest in this stuff, and as they stayed persistent with it, it went it growed, and then and as it's grown, they've also they go about themselves professionally.
Yep.
That's why they're getting the shit, man.
Yeah, and
it's not because. Yeah, go ahead.
I just keep feeling because they were like, "Oh, he's nobody." There's a Paris, and it's like you forget when they got on the big stage, where everyone started talking about him because Phil went on their show for their 1,000th episode.
Yep,
their 1,000 episode. 1,000. That's not 100. It's 1,000.
Yeah.
That's 1,000.
No other gaming podcast has hit that number.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it wasn't like they came out of nowhere. They've been around. They were there.
They've been around.
That's a good point, Adam. It's like you realize they've done. Phil Spencer was on 1,000th episode. Yeah, come on now.
They forget. They're like, oh yeah, he went on there and then he blew them up. It's like they were already around. He went on there out of respect for the fact they were around for 1,000.
Yeah, they didn't go on to episode 5, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Also, while we're giving everyone else a shout out to us. We're this weekend, 900 episodes of this iteration of Throwdown and Throwdown.
A lot, so much happened in that time. I mean, if you guys want to ask about any of those sorts of memories, there's just so much. Like you can, if you ever decide to go down the backlog of our YouTube history, or go on to what I can't remember. It's not Audio Boom, but if we had sound, go into the SoundCloud, you'll find
SoundCloud. All that shit is still there. Yeah.
Yeah, all of our stuff is still on SoundCloud. You can hear us all with our voices sound a little bit younger on YouTube. You could actually see us a lot 10 years younger than what we were when we started than we are now. So
yeah, man. If you speed the shit up, you see us melting.
We see us slowly melting.
Crazy
Start
shit.
Looking like some senators. All right.
Shit. Not gonna get into that. All right, people, we're gonna wrap up here. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping. And as always, I want to thank the guys in the Discord for providing us with material every week. Not only the questions, but the actual topics we talk about on the main show. So shout out to you guys. You could also follow us on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. That's 2 words, Throwdown Show. Literally, we're everywhere. Fucking Spotify, Amazon. We're even on fucking like Samsung podcast. Like we're everywhere.
We have an IMDb.
Yeah,
by the way.
I don't know how that happened, but we do.
We have an IMDb. We didn't touch it, but it just is there. So
there.
Whatever they grab, because remember they scrape.
Gamertag Radio has one too.
Whatever they scrape.
Yeah. By the way, and it's interesting, right? Because it says we've been around since 2018. So has Gamertag Radio, according to IMDb. Very interesting.
That's about
to Audio Boom or whatever.
I don't know what it's like. It might.
Because I think that's around that time. So maybe that's where they're scraping it from.
Yeah. Oh, Shredder's Revenge DLC came out. Oh shit.
Check that out. I've been playing that. Kind of upset, but
anyway, throwdownshow.com to listen to past episodes. All that shit's up there. And if you're watching us on YouTube and enjoyed our videos, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when our premieres go live. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time. Maybe my background will actually be different the next time.
We shall see. Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Adam Vale.
Have a good holiday weekend.
Yeah,
Happy
man.
Labor Day.
Brett Murdoch.
Why would you get a Spider-Man console when you're out here simping for free?
Yeah, right? Yeah, it didn't get you nothing, did it? Fucking dumbasses. Brian Manjoma.
I do wonder where that one guy on Twitter running the Saints Row Twitter is now. Because he seems to be awfully quiet. Or she, I don't know.
I had to reply to that thread. Like, hey, this aged badly, didn't it? Oh, my God. And, of course, I want to thank our special guest, man, Mr. Richard Bailey Jr.
Into the Starfield we go.
And, of course, Andre Tipton, Otaku Man 5000 himself.
As long as it's fun, keep doing it.
There you go. Yes. All right, people. We'll see you on Sunday, man. AMA Ask Us Anything. Let's go. Later.
Yo, but is it worth the price, Rich?
Is Throwdown worth it? Is it good enough for Game Pass? All right, people. We'll see you, man. Later.